In the year 2016, roleplay was a huge staple within the Minecraft community. After working on the Ultimate Adventure and school, I wanted to work on a show along with my friend the Theorizer, and thus we came together to create The Purge.
We are the heroes of our time, heroes,
We are the heroes of our time. Oh, whoa, whoa. Oh, whoa. There were a lot of highs and a lot of lows and a lot of stuff that happened behind the scenes. So this video, we're going to talk about the whole show, revisiting it, talking about each season, and also those extra seasons that we don't talk about. We'll get into season 5 and season 6 later. I feel like season 1 is up there with a lot of the iconic shows that I have done, but also within the Minecraft roleplay community as well. That's not me just tooting my own horn. Just to clarify, yes, I created the show, but I'm very aware that the show has some flaws. And I feel like the flaws started around season 2 as well. To help me talk about season 1, I actually have a little bit of a guest. Whoa, we have a guest. The Theorizer is actually visiting me this weekend, and I actually need to go and pick him up right now. So I will, let me go get him real quick. Hold on 1 second. There he is.
Oh, be on camera here.
How's it going, buddy?
The Theorizer's in my car. I'm back, guys.
We're back, baby.
We're back.
Yo, let's go watch The Purge.
Oh my god, let's do it right now.
It's The Theorizer! Hey!
I'm back.
It's 2016 all over again. It's The Theorizer and Gizzy Gazza. We're back, everybody.
The duo is back.
So, The Purge. It's been a decade now.
Probably one of the most exciting Minecraft roleplays.
So what we're going to be doing with you, Jordan, specifically in this segment of this video, is we're going to be talking about season 1, strictly, and then you're going to go home.
I'm just gonna fly.
Season 1, Darko and Billy are hunted by Sasha, who puts a target on Billy. They decide to team up with Gizzy and Jordan, two strangers forced to work together, and they agree to keep each other safe from the hunter. There was also a lot of things in season 1. There was a lot of cameos. We had like LD Shadow Lady, we had Mifsan, Ross, we had SGC Barbarian, we had It's Funny, we had Megan Plays, we had Caveman Films, we had OMG Chad, Shovel was the villain. There was a lot of cameos in this season, and a lot of people loved that. It was just like a fun little YouTuber thing, people coming together and just voice acting various characters.
Each episode, it was almost like I had no idea what was coming, and then Gizzy's like, oh, this person's gonna be in this, and this person's gonna be the bad guy, and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
What?
I think what worked with season 1 was our banter. A lot of people loved our awkward banter coming together, but we're restricted in a story as well. The first episode is interesting because it was a split one. You had a separate episode, and then I had a separate episode, and it was kind of like our different perspectives. So the very first episodes, we are not together. This is where I go to the hospital. Darko and Billow is introduced. Oh, Bert is also Darko. But this is kind of like, even immediately right away, there's like flaws. So in the very first episode, Purge begins, everyone's killing each other. Why did Gizzy go to the hospital so close to the end of day 1 on Purge night? What are you... This is not his first Purge. Why is he going to the hospital so close to Purge?
I think Gizzy's story was so complicated that even he couldn't foresee.
I was like, oh, we go to the hospital. Also, Darko and Billy's subplot is that they need to go to the hospital to get some records. Why are these records at the hospital about his criminal... It doesn't make sense. Episode 2, Gizzy bumps into Jordan in the hospital. They both escape a mad doctor who was Mifsan, forcing them to team up and head to the docks to find a boat. Because my plan was like, all right, we're going to go to the boat, and you were like tagging along because we had no other choice but to team up. Meanwhile, Darko and Billy collect the records, but they are ambushed by Sasha, who was the villain. And Gizzy keeps saying he's killed someone, but he's never did. So that was like another like plot hole that I kept causing for myself. The idea of the Purge is that I don't actually kill anyone. But then it's so early on, I've said that I've killed someone. So I'm already causing these plot holes already in the first like couple of episodes. Episode 3. We make it to the boat. We're captured by Lizzie. So we end up like ambushing LD Shadow Lady. We steal her boat, and then Billy shows up. I like the natural, like the heroes coming together. I think I like how natural it became. And that everybody kind of had like their own relationships with each other. That's what I really like.
Everything was organic and natural, but also really like the flow was interesting.
This is the episode that I really discovered that like the world felt really alive. Like instead of just us cutting to the dock, we were hiding and getting our way to the dock. So it was a way to like stretch the video out, but it was kind of, it helped show how alive the world was. We were like hiding from purges getting from like the hospital to the docks before we bumped into LD Shadow Lady.
Even if there's a couple of flaws, I mean, it kind of makes it unique in that way.
It's so 2016 coded. If you look at role plays in like now to back then a decade ago, it is so simplified. The story's great and I think the writing's really good, but the visuals and the like recording of it is so 2016 coded. I love it. It's very nostalgic. Episode 4, Gizzy and Jordan learn about Billy's situation, but they are captured by pirates. Nancy, who ends up being your love interest, who is also a prisoner, helps them all escape. Upon escaping, they are captured once again, this time by Sasha's henchman, Bruce. So there is a separate side storyline with Sasha and her brother, who was dating one of her henchmen, and they have this huge falling out. She ends up killing her brother's boyfriend.
Right.
Scandal.
I remember that.
Also, the brother is the famous film, so even more cameos. Episode 5 is the shark attack. Bruce is killed. Boom, dead. The others agree it's too dangerous to be out in the ocean. They head to Billy's hideout. They venture to the hideout, avoiding purges, only to be surprised when Billy's mom opens the door. So throughout this entire, for the first couple of episodes, we're teased that Billy's mom is a bad person, which ends up actually being foreshadowed for the later seasons with what happens between you and Nancy.
Yes.
Which was totally planned from season 1, right? Sure. Yeah, it was totally planned all the way back to the beginning episode. There's also a lot of world building in this episode. There's a lot of it's us walking from the dock, from the boat to the hideout. And instead of just us cutting to the hideout, we're walking and avoiding purges, and we're building that world again, which is something that I really like.
I remember this episode, and I remember thinking to myself, I was like, man, are we going a little far here? I was like, I'm a little this is intense.
But this is also 2016, where this was before Kids Copper, YouTube for Kids. You can kind of get away with a little bit more. But also Minecraft, the content we were making wasn't directly for kids. I don't see I was thinking more okay, we're making content for teenagers.
Yeah, that's how I always felt about it.
Yeah, I'm very aware that younger kids were watching us. And there's plot points later in the show where I think I definitely have gone too far. But for this first season, I feel like I was pretty tamed, except the next episode we'll get into, which I think we might have done a bit too much. Episode 6. So this is the episode that I feel like we kind of this was the naked episode. Do you remember the naked episode?
Yeah.
Well, because it's Purge, and also at the time in 2016, the word naked would get a lot of views. So we're like, okay, we can combine these two, because we're also just trying to think, hey, I want more eyes on the show. So what keywords and trends can we do to help get more eyes? For example, there's a Yandere episode, and then there's a naked episode, and these are trendy topics to help us get more views on the show that we were working hard on.
You'd never be able to get away with it today.
I would never do a naked episode now, but at the time, it was we could get away with this because we did it on the channel already. We did a naked murder mystery kind of thing.
Trends back then were weird.
But yeah, there's a naked gang. They attacked us. We're forced to run, and then there's a sniper following us because in an earlier episode, Darko is shot and killed.
Yeah.
So we assume that he's dead, but actually he ends up protecting us. So he ends up being the sniper.
Yep.
Which was a nice little twist for a lot of the viewers. Oh, this person we thought was dead is actually the hero. This is also where Hank reveals he's going to propose to Douglas, and the guilty sister, Sasha, leaves after learning Billy is close by. Sasha is still hunting Billy, but now that Billy is no longer in the middle of the ocean, she can now go and get him. Hank also discovers that his boyfriend is dead and realizes Sasha killed him. Also, this is the introduction of the very next character, Acid, who becomes very important for the next season. We'll get into Acid later, but we're introduced very briefly, very quickly right now about Acid, who ends up being very important in the next season. Who's also voiced by Robin.
Yeah.
Cycron, who has gone on to do Puppet Playtime. Love that guy.
He's famous.
He's famous. He's our friend, okay?
We love him.
We liked him first. Episode 7. So Jordan, you reveal at this point the reason why you're in town, because you're visiting from out of town and you're okay, so I have this job opportunity and that you have a hideout. So we're okay, so we've been attacked at this Billy's hideout, in the ocean, at the hospital. If Jordan has somewhere to go, we've gotten to know and trust you at this point. We trust Jordan. Let's go to his hideout. Jordan ends up getting shot. The heroes need to find shelter to patch him up. So we go to Yandere High School to patch you up because there's a first aid kit there. Nancy worked there at the school. Billy went to that school. But we learn that the girl who runs the school during Purge is a Yandere. Yeah. She takes over the high school. We attack Yandere. Funny is in this one. So we meet Funny, the Yandere, we attack kind of thing. And this is where you and Nancy get to know each other a little bit better. Close, you know?
Close,
We knew if we killed Funny off, the fans would have riot. So we're like, buddy,
Yeah.
you get to live, but we killed off Yandere.
Yeah, I just remember just the acting was just getting crazy that episode.
I remember that too. That you were shot, you were bleeding out, like, ah!
I know. I just feel like when we were this deep into the story, like I was like, just switched on. I was just like, I'm here now.
Acid has escaped, thrown Sasha into the cellar, and Hank traps her after learning that Douglas is dead. Episode 8. The heroes arrive at Jordan's hideout, but it turns out to be Hank and Sasha's apartment. This was such a huge twist. Turns out you were working for the villain the entire time without anyone realizing.
Yeah.
Without you realizing, without us realizing. So you came to the city to work for Sasha, but you were running late, and then you got stuck in Purge, and we ended up teaming up. Unfortunately, she escaped, and she did not realize that we were in her apartment this entire time. But you trapped us, which is where the infamous lamb line comes in. It's like, you should feel bad. And you're like, lamb. And I'm like, did you just say lamb? It's like, I said, well, I am.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
You should be.
Wham!
Did you just say lamb?
I said, well, I am.
No, I'm not laughing at your jokes. No, I'm mad at you. Get out of here. So then Gizzy, Billy, Nancy, and Rachel are all put in prison. Jordan is kind of conflicted. You're teaming up with Hank now, Sasha's brother, because they're all kind of conflicted. Hank realizes, like, you know what? I still love my sister, and it's still Purge night. Because Hank is convinced, like, if he can stop Sasha from running what she does during Purge, they can still have a relationship. Even though, this is another flaw of mine, which I didn't like. Hank realizes that his sister killed his boyfriend. I'd be so upset. Episode 9, we have the zombies. They break into the apartment, and they're forced everybody to escape into the sewers. You let us go. You help save us. You end up being the good guy, and you like break us out of prison. But then Nancy stays behind, sacrificing herself with the zombies, and she was gonna get eaten by the cannibals.
Yeah, that episode that was a hard episode.
That was a dark one. But fear not, because the sniper shows up and reveals to be Darko. What? And then Darko saves Nancy. We assume that Nancy's dead, not realizing that the sniper who's been keeping an eye on us has came down and killed all the cannibals and saved Nancy, and now Nancy and Darko are on their way to reunite with us.
Yep.
However, Hank has captured Billy now. Oh my gosh! Episode 10. Meanwhile, a mysterious woman orders her team, the Body Snatchers, to hunt down Darko. So when Darko was shot and left for dead, Body Snatchers showed up and took his body thinking that he was dead. Because what these people do, this mysterious woman and her Body Snatchers, they take dead bodies, they reuse their organs to...
Oh, yeah, sorry. I remember this episode.
Yeah, so they
I didn't
reuse
like
their
this one.
organs to help, like, people who are, like, dying or needs, like, a heart transplant kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's actually a good cause. It's, like, a good thing. It's like, hey, these people are dead. Maybe there's an organ that we could reuse. Like, if they have, like, a working heart, we could save someone else. However, Darko actually was alive. He escaped and stole her sniper. That's how Darko ended up with a sniper.
Yeah.
Stole it from the mysterious woman. Trapped in the sewers, the Snatchers arrive, and as they escape the sewers, Darko kills them, and they all reunite, along with Nancy. However, Hank has took Billy and is looking for Sasha. Sasha has called and revealed she is at the hospital. So it's kind of like a fun, like, looking back at episode 1 to the finale, it's in the same place. Like, it started at the hospital, ends in the hospital. That was kind of like, oh, that was on purpose.
Yes, yeah.
The first major flaw is Hank's motivation. She killed his boyfriend, but why is he so adamant on helping her still? Hoping she'll change after the Purge and leave his life behind. This feels unrealistic. I agree. Like, I feel still like, why is he helping her so much when she just took everything from him?
I don't know. I feel like you're a little harsh sometimes. I never personally viewed these things back then and said, like, who would do that? I was like, it's unique. It's different. Maybe there's something we don't know.
Maybe Hank is just complex. You know?
Complex
Maybe he's
writing.
so determined to get his sister back. No matter all the bad stuff that she's done, he wants his sister.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the finale, the season finale of season 1. Hank helps Billy escape into the hospital. Hank realizes that Sasha and Hank are not going to work out. So Hank ends up helping Billy escape. She calls him a useless brother that she'll never change. Makes a spark in Hank realizing, like, oh my gosh, no matter what, she's always going to be like this. Dun, 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 dun. The heroes sneak into Sasha's apartment, and thanks to Rachel's hacking skills, they gain access to Billy's tracker and learn that he's at the hospital. So it's all this big reunion at the hospital. However, I realized, like, as I'm writing this and I'm watching this, like, season, I realized, did we ever use Rachel's hacking abilities ever again? Was it just a convenient plot point for this, and then it was just never brought up ever again? We could have fleshed that out so much more. It was just like, oh, Rachel can hack things. At the hospital, there's a huge showdown, but Sasha gets the upper hand and kills Billy.
Wait, what?
No!
What are you doing?
No, don't do it!
Billy!
Sasha,
Billy!
no! No!
Billy, no! Billy!
No, Billy!
Billy, no!
This was such a moment that shocked so many people. They did not expect a kid to die. But
Yeah.
also, they also did not expect that Sasha would actually win.
I know, you really kept pushing the buttons.
Pushing the boundaries, I feel
like. The boundaries were being pushed in Purge, which is why it was so fun.
I liked the audience to not be comfortable in a not predictable way. Like, oh, obviously Billy's going to survive. They're going to stop Sasha. Psych! Psych!
No one's safe.
No one's safe in my shows. Darko squares off against Sasha, but is weakened. But Hank, her brother, kills her just before the sirens. The following day, the mysterious woman from earlier is named Belle, arrests Darko, because it turns out she's a police officer, for killing someone not during Purge after she discovered the records from earlier, the records that they got from the hospital. He was given the death penalty during the next Purge. However, it turns out Darko was protecting Rachel. Rachel was the one who actually killed someone not during Purge, and Darko took the fall, which is why Darko and Billy was at the hospital in episode 1 to get the records. For me, like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why wouldn't they, like, see the criminal records, like, as a doctor or whoever and be like, oh, this guy needs to be arrested.
Yeah.
That made no sense.
Somebody's getting fired.
Acid is revealed to be the next president, with Harold, who is Tortoise, stepping down and announcing Purge will be once a week. Hank realizes it's his fault because he helped Acid escape. Gizzy, Jordan, and Rachel agree to team up to save Darko, but Jordan reads the records and realizes Rachel was the one who killed someone, and she killed his girlfriend a few months ago.
The person you killed was Daisy?
Wait, you knew who Daisy was?
Wait, hold on, I'm sorry. Who's Daisy? Who's the person you killed was, okay, Daisy, that Darko's being blamed for. So you killed Daisy, but who is Daisy? What?
Daisy was my girlfriend.
I'm sorry, what?
Daisy was my girlfriend.
Rachel, you killed his girlfriend?
A few months ago, she died. You're the reason she's dead?
Overall, it was a great season with great twists, great character development, and great world building, and was fun to follow along and root for the heroes, and showed early not everyone is safe, including kids. I think it's a solid season, and it's worth about a 7 out of 10. Visually could be improved with some editing and filmmaking. It feels very 2016.
I'd give it an 8.
I'll give it an 8. You know what?
I think you're being a little hard on yourself. I think, like, as somebody who was just a part of the ride, probably one of the best Minecraft roleplays I was ever part of.
You know what? We're going to do an 8 out of 10. Season 1, 8 out of 10. You got an animation made by Zamination, who, funny enough, went on to work on Poppy Playtime. They helped co-create Poppy Playtime, and they made a Purge animation. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, we worked together before they became famous.
What are we supposed to do? There's a gang in here now.
What if we die?
If you didn't leave
It's
the
so
door
good
open,
together.
they wouldn't be in here.
What do you guys want?
Savage.
To kill, obviously.
Oh, they're naked. Everybody just look up. The naked gang.
Oh.
Yeah, the whole...
Of all the things you could do tonight, this is what you do? You just run around killing people naked?
See, like, we're in on the
It's
joke.
distracting
Yeah.
you guys, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Okay.
I guess so.
It was an accident. I didn't mean to get anyone in trouble.
This
I'm
is so
sorry.
funny. I love
just,
this.
like, should we just go? Oh, they're hugging. Oh,
Oh, okay.
Look at that.
I think they're grieving of...
Oh, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I'd rather just get shot right now than just be here.
Jordan, no,
That's
I'd
really
rather
awkward.
stay here.
Oh, just me then? Okay.
Okay,
All right,
bye,
see ya.
Jordan.
I'm just gonna pick some stuff up and then we're good to go. Hold tight. Not like you can go anywhere.
Oh, no. What do we
This is
do?
bad, dude.
What
This
do we
is-
do?
I don't know. We gotta think quick though, or else we're done for.
Maybe we could have some pancakes. I think you know this, and a lot of people who watch my content, the word pancakes was a code word for my actors.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like, when I say pancakes, something would happen, and that's, like, a cue for my actors to be like, all right, go, go, go.
Yeah.
Okay, we good?
No, get down.
Oh.
Get down.
Oh, yeah, okay. Just turn into a pig. I'm sorry.
You should be.
Well, I am.
Did you just say lamb?
I said, well, I am.
No, I'm not laughing at your jokes. It's so hard to stay in character. I'm mad at you. No, I don't want to laugh.
I feel safer being in the ocean. I don't think anything can attack us.
Well, there might be sharks. I heard there's sharks in this water. So.
Sharks on
Don't go in
Purge
water.
night?
Yeah. What? They don't just retire for the night.
Wait, you tell me sharks kill on Purge night?
They kill every night. They can, and it's legal for them.
Oh my god!
The banter was so fun, man.
And I think that's what we started to slip in the future seasons, because in like season 2, I could tell that you weren't really into it as much, and in season 3 you just did voice lines. But it really lost that banter. Like those, like in the animations, those genuine moments, like I'd rather leave. Like, no, dude, I'd rather stay here. Like that was not scripted. That was just us.
You did Minecraft for so long, and I don't know. I just wanted to pursue something new, and you know, I miss those days, and I agree. Like when we were recording, it was like just so awesome and fun and unique.
That's why Purge season 1 is like, out of
Peak.
all the other seasons, season 1. I really like season 3. So his death scene's reaction is actually going to be in season 4 section. So if you want to see it, you got to wait till a little bit later in the video.
We are the heroes of our time, heroes.
Season 2! We've made it to season 2. Jordan has gone home. He is not here anymore. I'm clearly filming this on different days. It's taken me a lot longer to film this, so if you haven't already, make sure you leave a like. And if you want something like this with other shows that I've done, like Friday the 13th, Altered Adventures, School, let me know. Season 2 has a very specific flaw, which I'm just going to let this clip play so you know what I'm talking about.
So what are you gonna do with a gun? Have someone in mind to kill?
Yes. The president.
I didn't know. It was 2016. Besides the very obvious elephant in the room of the storyline, I think I was a bit too harsh on this season. I actually ended up being really good. I recently rewatched it from the first episode all the way to the last episode, and I gotta give it to you. It holds up. Besides the one flaw, besides the one little thing, it was 2016, it was a different time, the world was not the way it was in 2016. I was also very new to America, I was young, forgive me, I have sinned. Season 2, as Sid becomes president and Hank feels responsible, so he asks Gizzy and the heroes to assist him. They eventually agree, but are tricked and become trapped, and they must all work together to find a way to stop Acid. While season 1 was more focused on, like, there was this kind of background storyline with Sasha and the, like, hunters, each episode was kind of focused on a different location. Whereas this time around, it's more focused on, like, the main plot, which is the White House. And most of the episodes are focused with the White House, which becomes a bit of a pattern in the other seasons. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, just something that I noticed. People may enjoy more of like a structured plot. People may enjoy more of the flowy kind of episodic style of season 1. Episode 1, Purge begins, and Gizzy and Jordan help break Darko out of prison and reunite with Rachel. Rachel explains to Jordan what happened to his girlfriend, Daisy, and that it was a terrible accident since Rachel owed money to a loan shark and tried to rob a store. The CCTV revealed Rachel killing Daisy, so Darko went back to get the tape, but in return it made him look like a robber instead. Darko needed to destroy the personal records so he could then go on the run. I do like that it kind of cleared that up. Thing that made no sense, like why we go to the records, blah, 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 you know, in the first season. So this kind of clears that, it explains that a little bit better, which I guess at the time I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why am I doing this? Blah, 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 blah. I keep going blah, 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 blah. I'm so sorry. Meanwhile, Hank bumps into the heroes and tells them his plans to stop the president, and they all agree to join except Jordan. Harold asked Acid to let his family go, revealing he was blackmailed and his advisor Luke made the transfer official. Also, Rachel hacked the police station. She used her hacking ability more than once. Let's go! I did it. We reused an asset. I thought it was going to be like this one and done thing, but no, turns out I did use it multiple times. So I'm very, very proud of you, decade me. Good job. However, realistically, the advisor being the only one that could transfer powers between presidency, what do you do? What is that? What is that? I think I needed some kind of reason as to turn Howard back into become a president again, and I didn't know how to do that. So I was like, oh, what if this guy has the power to do it, like, as the advisor? None of that makes sense. None of that makes sense. I'm very aware of that. Episode 2. The heroes head to the White House and they begin arguing with each other, passing the blame of Billy's death to each other. On the bridge, Jordan reunites with the heroes, but they are attacked by clowns. Hank slips, but Darko saves him, letting go of the burden and accepting it was Sasha's fault for Billy's death. The heroes team up and push the clowns off the bridge to their deaths. This was around the time of the Killer Clowns, like, crazy thing that was going on in 2016. Also, Killer Clowns, Purge, it makes sense. It just made sense, okay? Rachel ran up and after defeating a hustling boy, realized she needed to work with Darko. She reunites and apologizes to Darko and they make amends. They make it to DC and Darko reveals he has a friend who is a spy who may be able to help them. Jordan also reveals he discovered the first lady of the White House is Daisy. So Jordan's girlfriend, who he thought was dead, is actually working at the White House. So now Jordan has an incentive to help them to help save Daisy. Luke tries to sign a new document, but is stopped by Daisy, who is just as crazy as Acid. This is the first episode where we started cutting jumping around places because Jordan didn't share commentary with me with this one. We actually kind of just jumped, and that's something that I didn't like as much. That's what I liked in season 1, but in season 2, we started to cut between places instead of just letting the world breathe and being attacked by purges or avoiding purges like we did in season 1. Episode 3, the heroes meet Ace, the spy, but he seems to know Gizzy. They get Hank into the White House, but it was a setup and Ace is working for Acid. The others are taken hostage and Acid reveals he has to kill one of them. Also, this is the introduction of Ace. Hello, such an icon. Everybody was obsessed with Ace. You guys all loved Ace. Ace was such a great character, great voice actor, voiced by Shady Fox. And also, this was a really big twist of this season where it ended up with a cliffhanger where one of the characters was going to die and we didn't know who until the next episode. Oh my gosh! This was a good episode. This was a big one. Episode 4, Gizzy, Jordan, and Rachel are prisoners and learn that Hank was the one who was killed. Oh, Hank, no! Darko is tortured and brainwashed into becoming a loyal slave to Acid. And Ace reveals Daisy is also brainwashed, which explains why she was crazy earlier. Belle shows up, wanting her prisoners back, but Acid instead kills her men and sends her out onto the street alone. So now, Belle's getting involved in this storyline. Now she's kind of teaming up with the heroes to stop the president because now she has a motive to stop the president. Ooh, Belle's becoming one of the heroes. Whoa. So this episode was called Unspeakable Gas because we had the voice actor Unspeakable Gaming come in and help out with a couple of scenes. But he was only in the show for like 30 seconds and we just used his name. Very obviously just using his name to kind of get some views. Now looking back at it, did not like that. It kind of took away from like the drama a little bit. We were waiting for so long, just like, oh, who's going to die? And then it was just kind of shoehorned Unspeakable Gaming into it just for like clicks and views. And I don't know, it kind of felt like it paused the drama a little bit. YouTube collabs did definitely slow down this season. Like the first season was a lot of fun. We had a lot of collabs. We were more focused on the story and I think that was important and I think that was a good idea. Why did we kill Hank? Why did we choose to kill Hank? Why is Hank dead? Why is Hank dead? All right, let me tell you. We had to kill someone. And Hank's story was over. There was no other reason for Hank to still be in the show at this point. Now that Hank has gotten us to the White House, there was no longer a reason for Hank to be there. Plus, it was also a nice surprise and a twist because Hank and Acid, they kind of helped each other out in the first season. Hank was the one responsible for Acid to get to the White House. So it ended up being more of a shock that Acid would kill that ally that he had with Hank. Plus, now with Sasha gone and his henchmen and the boyfriend, like this, he was season 1 storyline. We no longer needed Hank to continue on in the show. And I thought it would be a nice twist. And you guys seem to like Hank, so my apologies about that. Now, like I said before, nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. Episode 5. Acid used Arthur to make him purge and to turn against his father, but Arthur refuses. Because Arthur has always wanted to purge, but was never allowed to. And that was the reason why Acid broke into the White House in the first place. We'll get into that later. Put a pin on that. Gizzy, Jordan, and Rachel are slaves, cleaning the White House, and Jordan tries to talk to his brainwashed girlfriend, Daisy. Daisy is starting to realize maybe she still loves Jordan, but Acid gets in her head again and doubts herself. While cleaning, Gizzy and the others come up with a plan, but are ambushed by Ace, and they question who he really is. Ace has this question mark around him like he knows who Gizzy is. Like, what is going on here? Who is this man? What is his secret? Darko shows up and he's brainwashed and the others are unable to get through to him. After falling out with his mom, Arthur joins Acid and Ace. Ooh, the 3 A's. Arthur, Ace, and Acid. Boom. The music in this one was terrible. Oh my gosh. Just listen to this. I'm so embarrassed. I'm just embarrassed.
So many people told me that they saw you die. So many. Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea how hard these past few months have been? I thought you died.
After all this time, you didn't visit me because you didn't love me?
No!
There is still banter between me and Jordan, though, so I do glad that there's still banter in this entire season. I thought that it wasn't as good compared to season 1. I wouldn't say it's better than season 1, though, but it's still really good in this one. Jordan and I crushed it. Episode 6! Daisy wants to leave, and so Acid decides she needs to be brainwashed again. Arthur tries to kill his dad, Harold, but he struggles. Harold is sorry for not being a better father. Arthur doesn't listen to Harold. Gizzy begins his plan to escape, with Rachel distracting Darko. Gizzy breaks the tracker and the others begin to escape. Rachel agrees to stay behind for Darko, and Jordan finds Daisy. Gizzy, Jordan, and Daisy escape into the tunnels, and Daisy confesses she still loves Jordan. But Acid shows up and kills Daisy! Oh my god! Why did we kill off Daisy? Why did we kill off Daisy? What's going on here? We just killed off Hank to then boom Daisy. Oh my gosh. Nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. Actually, there's a real reason. You may notice that there was 2 different voice actors with Daisy in this season. There was Leo and then Cybernova. They both was just really difficult to get voice lines from, whatever was going on with their lives. And it was hard for us to carry on this character for Daisy when the voice actors didn't want to do it, basically. Instead of juggling between trying to find another voice actor, like a third one. We also knew Nancy would come back eventually at some point. I didn't know how to juggle Nancy, Daisy, Jordan kind of love triangle. That could have been fun to explore, but because of the voice actors, that's why we killed Daisy off. And that has been a pattern in my entire life where we have rewritten characters because of the voice actors. If we ever do more of this video reacting, recapping to old shows, I will talk more about those characters another time. I don't think it it does happen again in Purge. It will happen again. We'll get into that in season 3. But yeah, Daisy's voice actors were hard to get hold of. They couldn't do it. They didn't want to do it. So we just killed off Daisy, basically. I also didn't know where Daisy would fit in this point on after the show. You know, I didn't know where to put her. Episode 7! Gizzy and Jordan escape the White House and they bump into Belle. They explain to her that Darko never killed anyone and her mission is for nothing. Because if you remember, Belle was after Darko because she thought that Darko killed Daisy. So now Belle no longer needs to go after Darko. They manage to remove the trackers, but the alarms go off and Belle is taken prisoner. Arthur worries he will be killed if he turns against Acid and remains loyal. Luke is put in prison. Acid turns Harold into a slave. Acid reunites with Belle and he sends his men to go and kill her fellow police officers, with Belle also being turned into a slave. Gizzy and Jordan return to Ace's cafe and they gain access to the safe using a code Gizzy found earlier, realizing Gizzy's name is the code. Gizzy's name? Who is this person? What? They soon realize that Ace is Gizzy's father. This episode was so good for the two villains, Ace and Acid. Oh my gosh. Acid is such a fun villain. Like, he just does not care. Like, he's so good. And like the voice acting, Zychron, puppy playtime. He's so good. And then also balancing that with Shady Fox, with Ace. Talent across the board. With also the big twist finally revealing that Ace is Gizzy's father. I love it. I love it. Can we get a round of applause, please? Oh my gosh, I love it. If you haven't already, I would rewatch this episode 7. It's so good. Just the villains. Oh, the villains crush it in this one. Episode 8, where a bunch of Acid's men head into Belle's police station. Arthur is recruited as a protector for Acid and is asked to take Belle to the prisons. Belle escapes and steals the keys though. Belle helped Roxanne and Luke escape, and so Arthur fears for his life. Uh-oh, so the prisoners have escaped. Oh my gosh, what do we do now? What do we do? Gizzy and Jordan are unsure what to do with Ace, and they hope they can convince Ace to join them. Roxanne, Luke, and Belle join them at the cafe, and they come up with a plan to stop Acid once and for all. Roxanne and Belle head to a safe house, while Gizzy, Jordan, and Luke return to the White House. Rachel is being tortured by Ace when Arthur tells him the prisoners escaped. Ace leaves to check the cafe and tasks Darko to torture Rachel, but he finally comes back and helps Rachel escape. Of course, true love conquers all. Darko saved Rachel. Yes, we love that. Episode 9. Ace and Arthur discover what the heroes are up to and tasks Arthur to go to the safe house to kill his own mother. Gizzy, Jordan, and Luke bump into Rachel and Darko, and Gizzy agrees to use sleeping gas that was used on them. So when they got captured, it was sleeping gas with Ace. Ace used sleeping gas on them with us when we got captured in the first place. Now we're going to turn the tables, since now that we've returned to the cafe, we've got the sleeping gas back from Ace, and now we're going to use it on them. Genius! Rachel leaves to the safe house as Darko reveals he knew this entire time Ace was Gizzy's father. That weasel. Why did you not tell me? To be fair, I guess Darko never really had a chance to tell him. He was like immediately captured and then brainwashed, you know? Like, when did he have time to tell him? They return to the White House and steal the sleeping gas and hand Darko the gas to lure the guards. Darko tricks the guards into the cell and puts them to sleep, including himself. So now Darko is trapped inside with the guards. But at this point, it's just Ace and Acid and no one else. Arthur arrives at the safe house to kill Roxanne, but Rachel shows up in time and gets the upper hand, helping Belle get the gun from him. Arthur runs off, they decide to let him go. Gizzy, Jordan, and Luke ambush Acid, who is holding Harold hostage, and realize he's outnumbered, decides to set off a bomb and takes his own life. Acid overrides the detonator and they need to figure out how to stop a bomb.
You think after everything Acid, President Acid, will survive in jail, let alone even get there? No, I'm not going to prison. If you're not going to kill me, I'll do it myself.
Wait,
What?
Acid.
What do you...
Wait, no. Oh!
What the...
Whoa! So Acid is now, he's gone. Great. The villain's gone, but he had an upper hand and he set up a bomb. So now the others are like, what do we do about this bomb? We need to stop this bomb. How do we stop this bomb? In my brain, when I wrote this, it was kind of like a emergency, you know, in case there's terrorists that take over the White House. They have a bomb inside the White House that would explode, like in the bunker, like way below. That was kind of my thought process. And I was like, you know what? This makes sense. This makes sense. Don't look too much into it, but it makes sense. That's where my brain was at. Episode 10. So this is the last episode of the White House story arc. But it's not the last episode of the season. There is another episode to go. There's more twists and surprises. Keep up, keep up. 10 minutes before the bomb explodes, so they realize Darko is trapped inside the prison cell. So they can't just escape, because otherwise Darko will die. They need to stop the bomb. They need to find a way to defuse the bomb. As Howard and Luke investigate the bomb, Gizzy and Jordan confront Ace. That's right, Ace is still here. They trick Ace into the torture chamber, leaving him trapped. Meanwhile, Howard and Luke discover the bomb was tampered with, and they can change the radius from 100 to 5. So instead of like an explosion like this, they could do an explosion like this. Are you keeping up? Great. However, someone still has to stay behind to make sure that it stays like that, because if anyone leaves, it goes like that. So somebody needs to hold the lever to keep it like that. Oh no, a sacrifice needs to be done. Arthur shows up, realizes how wrong he's been, and he sacrifices himself, saving his dad and Luke. They return to Ace, where he reveals he killed Gizzy's mother.
Since it'll be my last breath anyways. I didn't. I killed your mother!
In a fit of rage, Gizzy turns on the chamber, killing Ace. Sirens go off, ending the purge. Wow! Wow! We've done it. Another purge is over. The following day, Howard makes an announcement that he was blackmailed, and he reveals the purge will end next year. We're ending the purge. Now that the president has gone through this traumatic event and lost his son, he's like, no, this has to end, and he's ending the purge. So next year's purge, season 3's purge, is the last purge. Great. The surviving heroes decide what they want to do next. Belle reveals she now works at the White House. Darko and Rachel wants to be left alone. And also Belle discovers that Ace's body is missing. Whoa, what happened to Ace? What happened? The reason why we killed off Arthur in this episode, yeah, there's another character's death. Oh my gosh. I feel like Arthur could have been fun to join us just because of like his characteristics and his like edgy personality. We're like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, blah, blah, blah. And also the voice actor was Tyson, and we love Tyson. He's gone on to do many things with me. So we could have easily had the voice actor. He wanted to redeem himself and be the hero, and because he caused this problem. Like it was his fault that, you know, Acid took over the White House. So he felt like he needed to do this. So it was kind of more his story. Plus, it's kind of like a parallel where like the first season, you know, Darko and Rachel lost their kid. Now Howard and Roxanne lost their kid. It's like a pattern. Episode 11. Flashback to how Acid took over the White House. Dating Daisy, holding Arthur hostage. Acid used Daisy and Arthur to get to the White House. Present day. Gizzy is staying with Jordan, and they are worried people will blame them for the purge ending. They agree they need to move away, because don't forget, this is America and people like the purge. Someone has found that home and broke in. Core! Introduction of a new character called Core, named after my husband. We just started dating at this time, and I'm like, this would be fun to write you in as a character. Yay. Core seeks their help and reveals he works for a gang called the Wild Coyote. A gang we met very briefly earlier in that season. They kidnap people and they kill them on stage in front of other people who don't want to purge. So it's kind of like an entertainment thing. Like they capture people, they put them on stage, people pay to watch, they die, they clap. You get it. Core reveals he kidnapped Nancy and was going to kill her, but someone else came in and stole her. Remember Nancy from season 1? She's back. They head to the White House to try to track Nancy and discover Ross survived and kidnapped Nancy. Ross, the pirate from season 1, who wanted to marry Nancy. He's back. He's back, and he wants revenge, and he wants Nancy. Jordan and Core team up to try to track down Nancy and Ross before the next purge in a year. Gizzy does not want to be involved. Core has the hots for Belle's, but she isn't interested for now. Ooh, another love interest. Belle reveals to Gizzy that Ace is still alive. It's revealed Darko is still brainwashed and helped Ace escape and is still helping him. So even though Darko still loves Rachel and doesn't want anything to hurt Rachel, there is this weird conflict with Darko where they were friends. Darko and Ace were friends. Darko is brainwashed. He doesn't want to see his friend die or be captured as well. So he let him go and has been helping him. Oh my gosh. So now Darko's conflicted. Like, who do I help? Ace or Rachel? I don't know. Yeah, I definitely underestimated this season. But apart from the very obvious awkward storyline without like stopping the president, it's 2016, okay? I'm sorry. There isn't as much world building since the story was mostly in one place this season, but the banter between Jordan and Gizzy was still there and had some great moments from old and new characters. There was a lot of really fun new characters as well this season. The editing was also way better with a lot more sound effects, and most of the music was used very well. Most of the music. Sure, a political storyline is never that fun, but with it being based around the purge, we had to do at least one political season. I also give this one an 8 out of 10. That's right, season 1, season 2, both 8 out of 10s. 8 out of 10s, I'm giving it to them. That's correct. All right, that's season 2. I really enjoyed season 2. What are your thoughts on season 2? Honestly, the characters were great. World was great. Story was mostly great. I feel like the only thing that really rubbed me the wrong way personally was the Daisy situation. Like, I think I wanted Daisy to continue, but I just couldn't make it work with the voice actors. And it's kind of frustrating when like you have to rely on other people who aren't putting 100% into it, and then you have to make sacrifices for that. That's never a fun feeling. And I don't blame the voice actors. This was also a decade ago. I don't even talk to most of them now at this point.
It wouldn't be the first time that I found love. It wouldn't be the last time that I lost some. I'll be your ghost, so let me go now. I'll be the ghost, turn on to my heart.
Season 3. We're now at Season 3. And earlier in the episode, in this video, I talked about how I really liked Season 3. Well, I just rewatched Season 3, and I don't know if I still stand by that. But first, before we talk about Season 3, let's talk about the music. We haven't had the chance to talk about music, so let's talk about music. So obviously the iconic Heroes song. Say it with me. We are the heroes of our time. Thank you very much. That will be on the exam. There's going to be a pop quiz. I forgot to mention that. Literally, I was on Spotify and I went on Discover Weekly. Like a weekly, they do a refresh to give you new songs that you might like. And I listened to it. I really liked it. And I was working on Purge at the time. I was like, this kind of fits. And I realized it was a cover of the 2015 Eurovision Sweden winner song, Heroes. So because it's a cover song, it wasn't like, it had different copyright rules. So I was able to actually upload it without it getting like flagged or like demonetized or anything like that. So I was like, oh my gosh, let's do that. So for Season 2, I worked on Heroes. I did Heroes. And you guys also in the comments like flooded that video's comments with just me. And that was very overwhelming. So that was very cool. Thank you. So for Season 3, this season, I wanted to take another of like the artist band. I think it's Alex and the Dalai Lama. I took another song of theirs, Ghosts, because it also kind of fit as well. And I wanted each season to have a different song. That was a poor judgment later because I realized besides those two songs, no other songs worked within Purge. So I was kind of stuck using this artist who only had 2 appropriate songs instead of 3 appropriate songs or more. So Season 5 onwards, I went back to Heroes. Season 4, I will not be showing because it is actually copyrighted. It was a remix and it was a cover, so I thought it would be fine, but it just flagged a lot of the episodes. Heroes is the iconic one. We love Heroes, but Ghost is pretty good too. Episode 1! We're on episode 1. Whoa, let's go. A mysterious cult kills one of their own, worshipping the wrong god. Yes, there is a religious storyline, and this is the reason why I didn't like this season as much as I thought I did. I really like the plot A storyline with like the cannibals and getting Nancy and Jordan and the pirates. That was sick. Love that. This storyline kind of not so much. This storyline ties into Darko and Rachel's storyline. 1 year later, and it's the final Purge. Gizzy is in his own apartment about to meet with the president to use their safe house when he is threatened by someone called Doug owing him money. I don't know why I used the name Doug when we had a character called Doug and we never see this character ever again. I don't think we do. So like, what was the point? What was the point? Gizzy makes it to the safe house but gets a mysterious call and has to leave. Meanwhile, Rachel discovers Ace is alive and hiding inside their shack. Turns out Gizzy was called by Darko, who told him Ace was still alive. Ace explains he is dying and has been marked for death by Antichrist. Antichrist discovered Ace working with acid and felt betrayed and marked him for death. Ace needs to go to Antichrist for a less painful death. As Gizzy arrives at the shack, the purge begins. Jordan is on a boat with Nancy and the new Captain Stern. Reveals he plans to marry Nancy that night. Turns out Jordan and Stern teamed up to find Nancy but was tricked after he killed Ross. That's right, Ross is dead. What? Shocker, twist. You thought you were gonna see Ross again? Think again. I really like this opening. It was a great opening, great like setup, established the dynamic of everybody as well. I just don't know how I feel about the religious storyline. We went from political to religious. Boy, I really like Stern. He is just so unpredictable. I kind of like it. He has nothing compared to Acid though. Acid, king. Stern's pretty fun though. I like Stern. Writing for Stern was pretty fun. I like Stern. He's just a wild card. Don't trust him. Episode 2, the introduction of Kib, a rebel duck who joins the adventures. Ace tells Gizzy that he's dying and wants to say goodbye. Ace tells the truth that Gizzy has a brother. Gizzy says his farewell and leaves his dad. Darko chooses to help Ace one more time to find Herobrine. Rachel stays behind at the house, angry at Darko for choosing Ace again and lying for her the whole year. Returning to the safe house, Gizzy bumps into Core and Kib fighting and learns Jordan might be in danger. As Kip runs off, Gizzy and Core team up with Belle and Luke to use Luke's boat. Meanwhile, Kip steals Lizzie's boat to go and find the pirate treasure, as he overheard Gizzy and Core talking about pirates. I love the callback to LD Shadow Lady stealing her boat again. Love that. Shout out to Lizzie for like jumping in and doing voice lines again. Much appreciated. I'm loving the introduction of Kip because at the time, me, Kip, and Jordan were all doing like full friends, us trio, every single recording in 2017. A lot of videos in 2017 would be just us three. So I was like, it made sense for me to introduce Kip into the world of Purge. And a lot of you guys at the time really liked it. However, I will yet to regret it, which we will get into later in this. I also liked Kip's personality, and I liked his story. Like, he didn't really want to join the adventures or like the heroes, and he just wanted the money. And then his rivalry with Core was really fun too. I like that we kind of gave Core something, because Core, this is Core's main season, I guess, because he only showed up over the last part of season 2. So kind of giving him that rivalry with someone kind of feels Core feel naturally fleshed into the heroes. And of course, Core liking Belle. However, this is the season that Jordan did not join me in every single live episode, which if you rewatch, you can kind of tell that he just did voice lines. There is no banter, which I think hurt the season a lot. And the world doesn't feel alive because we don't really see as many purges as we did in the first 2 seasons. Episode 3. Herobrine sends 2 of his henchmen to go and collect Ace from his hideout. Gizzy, Luke, Belle, and Core are in the middle of the ocean catching up about their lives trying to find the pirates. Bailey takes them hostage with his submarine. Bailey's job is to track down and kill pirates. Core has a pocket knife and breaks everyone out. But there was a mutiny, and the soldier shoots the boat, and the submarine begins to flood. They manage to all escape in a lifeboat. Another soldier is on the boat called Johnson. Kip joins the pirate boat and is immediately captured by Stern and thrown in jail with Jordan. This is a fun episode. The submarine episode is very fun. I like Bailey, although I keep doing this thing where I keep making 2 voice actors play. Well, I keep making 1 voice actor play 2 characters. So now Tortoise is playing Harold and Bailey, and Kib played Luke and Kib. That one is going to bite me later, which we're slowly getting towards. Also, I'm getting hot. Forgive me. It's summer. Episode 4. Rachel turns off security to try to contact Darko as she has a change of heart, but is captured by Harrow's henchmen. Darko and Ace return to the cafe, and Ace reveals that Darko knows where Gizzy's brother is. Darko realizes Rachel is in trouble and races home. The problem that I have with this storyline is that it's just kind of like, for a few episodes, it's just Ace doing his goodbyes and just kind of walking around and doing nothing. They're doing nothing. This should have been Gizzy and Ace's final moments, and yet I robbed that from you guys. I'm sorry, okay? I didn't know what I was thinking. Gizzy and Core sneak onto the pirate ship and attack the pirates, stopping the wedding and saving Jordan. Kip and Core team up to help with the other heroes. Nancy pushes Stern off the ship. The remaining surviving pirates reveal they were held captive by Stern and thanks the heroes for saving them. The heroes agree to leave the pirate ship back to the other boat given by the pirates. Kib can't get the treasure and is forced to join the heroes. As they are on the lifeboat, a storm shows up. Darko and Ace discover Rachel has been taken and they need to go and find her. This episode on YouTube has a lot of audio missing, which also happens a lot in the future episodes, so my apologies if you go back and rewatch and you're missing audio in this episode. It's because it had copyrighted music and I tried to like cut it out, but instead it just muted it and it just became a mess. Which you actually see, I re-uploaded a specific episode of season 4 because of the same issue, but this one was so iconic and I wanted to just re-upload it just in its pure form. It is copyright claimed. I'm not making any money from it. I don't care. I just want you to watch it as I intended it to be watched. This is a really good episode. Highly recommend it. But we'll talk about that when we get to season 4. Also, I want to also very quickly point out, which will become a plot hole later, Gizzy killed a bunch of pirates. In this episode, Gizzy killed pirates. I'm going to put that there. We'll talk about that again later. I have killed people. Full stop. Done. I've done it. This is also the first episode Gizzy and Jordan reunite, but this is also the first season that Jordan did not record and only did voice lines. It killed a lot of the banter, unfortunately. It's just what it is. You know, there's banter when they are both in the recordings together, but when it's just voice lines, it's not that easy. Episode 5. Darko and Ace take one more stop and meet a woman named Lois, who is revealed to be Gizzy's mother. Oh my gosh! Ace is just deceiving everybody. Turns out she never died, and Ace lied, and also lied to Lois saying Gizzy died when he was a baby. He kept them separate for his fun. Lois leaves for the president's hideout as Ace is finally ready to die. The heroes wash up on Cannibal Island and their boat is destroyed. They split up. Gizzy, Jordan, Nancy, Luke, and Johnson explore the island to look for help while the others stay behind to try and fix the boat. While exploring the island, Johnson is attacked and eaten by cannibals! Ah! Oh my god! Johnson, no! Johnson we'll talk about Johnson. Johnson's also played by Mikey, ATF, Appear to Fear, I think his name was, something like that. He went on to join me in Clue in the Full Friends era that we did. They return to the others, but they've gone missing and they are ambushed by more cannibals. Nancy and Luke go missing as Gizzy and Jordan escape. They agree they need to find a way to contact help and find the others. Herobrine has Rachel held hostage and tells her he feels a connection to the heroes and it's connected to the prophecy. When the prophecy is fulfilled, he will be freed and sent back to hell. One must kill the other. Ace and Darko finally show up. I have so many plot here. I have so much plots. I have so much to talk about here. So I'm just gonna look down and read them. So if I'm not looking directly in the eyes, I'm reading. I do not like Lois's introduction because we already did the bait of like Gizzy has a brother. And then we also have the bait of like Gizzy's mom is alive. Like there's too much already going on. I like Pink voiced Lois and Pink went on to do other stuff with us, like such as Clue. We did Full Friends. She went on to do multiple seasons of this show. So we like nothing to do with Pink. We love Pink. But the character I felt like didn't need to exist. Not to mention the high stakes of like Ace killing Gizzy's dad is kind of robbed. That ending of season 2 doesn't feel justified. And that happens frequently in this, I've noticed. When Jordan dies later and then he's brought back, that kind of that robs that, you know? I need to stop doing that. I'm so sorry. I'm robbing from you. I'm so sorry. The map is Gazza Island. If you recall, in 2014 to 2015, I did a show called Gazza Island. It was kind of like a pirate roleplay thing, and it went on to do like a modded Let's Play. Gazza Island was kind of like the sister show to the Altered Adventure. Similar idea, where it's kind of like a Let's Play, but then there's a story. While Altered Adventure was fleshed out and fully developed and became such a juggernaut of my channel and my career, Gazza Island kind of fizzled out and it was ended. This also, fun fact, was a lost episode for a long time. You'll notice the timestamp is so different to everybody else. I think it's because, again, I had the audio missing. I deleted like copyrighted music, but it just muted the whole thing, and I ended up just deleting it. I found it on a hard drive, and I re-uploaded like, I think a year later. So it was in between like these random cartoons, and everyone like who started to subscribe to me for cartoons were like, what is this? But I did it for you guys, all right? I did it for you because I knew that I needed it to be up. So people who wanted to watch it in order without any interruptions can now do that, especially if you're just watching from like a playlist. Season 1, episode 1, all the way down to season 6, episode 6. This is also the first episode where Kib was replaced with his audio, who played both Kib and Harold. This was because Kib, the voice actor Kib, went on to do Sugar Pine 7 with Steven Suptic around the same time. The problem was Kib was just not available and was just too busy, and he also just didn't want to do Minecraft anymore. It's the same situation with Daisy, where like the voice actor came in, they didn't want to do it all, like they were busy, I had to replace them. And then I had to write them out, which is why we decided to write out Harold and Kib in this season. We also replaced both voice actors with Thomas. The voice is so different, but like Kib has such a specific, unique voice, I just couldn't replace him. It was also dumb for me to introduce one voice actor to play two characters, which I then did again with Tortoise playing two characters. So my apologies. I'm sorry. I was young. Another pet peeve that I have in this episode is that Ace does not seem to care that he is dying. He's just kind of like ticking off his chores. Like, all right, I'm ready now. This doesn't feel like Ace. This doesn't feel like the Ace that we knew and loved, right? Like, there's no trick. There's no prank. It's kind of like he's just kind of do this revelation thing and then boom, done. I'm getting a phone call. Who's calling me? It's spam. Also hate the whole voodoo magic thing. It makes zero sense in this world. The heroes connected to a prophecy from someone that they've never met before. Oh my gosh, can you shut up? Oh my gosh, I hate it. Episode 6. Luke and Nancy are in jail and Luke lets it slip that he's friends with the president and he's taken away by the cannibals. Gizzy and Jordan climb a radio tower to try to call for help, but they are unable to send help until the purge ends. The cannibals chase them up the tower and they are forced to jump into the trees. Herobrine reveals because of Ace's brainwashing, Darko will worship him, and Ace is killed. Luke wakes up and it's revealed Stern is the leader of the cannibals now after surviving the ocean and killing the previous leader. Luke is eaten as Belle watches and is too scared to help. I like this episode. I know, crazy concept. The shock of a main character getting eaten and dying, also revealing that the main villain, the pirates, has taken over the island and is now turning the cannibals against the heroes. Like, it's such a, how do you get out of this situation? It kind of reminds me of season 2. Everybody got captured by the president and they become slaves and they're trapped in the White House. Now what? Like, how do you get out of the situation? This is that moment. The villain, the pirate villain, Stern, has taken over the island, teamed up with the cannibals, and eaten the main character. The other heroes are trapped on the island with no way out, no way of escaping, and is forced to just hide and have to wait it out. Fun. Fun? Fun. Pop quiz time. We are the heroes of time. Correct. Brownie point. You get a brownie point. The Antichrist storyline and like Ace had such a fizzled out death, unfortunately. And now Darko is brainwashed by Herobrine. I don't know. I'm not connecting with it. I'm not feeling it. B plot could have focused on Ace, Darko, and Rachel finding Ace's long lost son. That's what the story should have been. Gizzy had a brother. Ace revealed that he had a son. They could have spent that time finding the son. That could have been the B plot. That would have been a good B plot. And at the end of the season during the wedding, when Lois is about to reveal to Gizzy that she is his mother, instead it could have been the long lost brother telling Gizzy that he is his long lost brother. It was right there. Why did I do this? Episode 7. Belle feels guilty about Luke's death and is attacked by a cannibal but escapes. Kib and Core are forced to work together again and they find Nancy. But cannibals arrive and capture Core as the other two escape. Despite their rivalry, Kib wants to help Core. Gizzy and Jordan head to the hot air balloon and Gizzy wants to escape, but Jordan refuses to leave Nancy and the others and he torches the hot air balloon. With the only way to escape up in flames, the two argue but collapses into a cave below them. Inside the cave, they find another person called White, who is hiding from cannibals. He was a tourist who escaped the cannibals, explaining that cannibals use this island to trick tourists as a safe place. They also discover from White that Stern has taken over as the leader of the cannibals. White tells them there is an airport on the island, which is how the tourists flew in and out. But they need a key from Stern and gasoline. White refuses to help and stays behind. Lois arrives at the president's hideout, but is refused access by Roxanne and Harold. A purger shows up, but Roxanne eventually helps and lets her in. They try to track Gizzy and discover the radio tower message and decide to get the helicopter and go and save them. Lois is a pilot. Wow, convenient. Just like Rachel was a hacker. Convenient. The audio kept cutting out in this final scene again. This felt like such a filler episode. Not much happening, except we got some lore. You know, we got some lore of the cannibals. Like, oh, why does this island exist? How did the cannibals eat people on this island? Like, it's a fun storyline of like tricking people into like it's a safe haven when in reality then they're attacked and killed. I like it. I also like the character White, where he's kind of like this like smart person who's been in hiding the whole time. Episode 8. Darko and Rachel return home, but they're mad at each other since Darko is now brainwashed and worship Herobrine. Darko believes Rachel killing Daisy led to this moment, and so Rachel wants to fix the problem. Gizzy and Jordan sneak into the village and steal the key for the hangar. They overhear Stern saying Luke has been eaten and Cora's in jail. Gizzy wants to head to the hangar while Jordan wants to go back for him, which causes the two to argue. After the two argue, Jordan grabs the key from Gizzy, forcing Gizzy to help him. They eventually save Cora and head to the hangar. Stern finds Belle and tries to convince her to join him after learning she watched Luke die and did nothing. He also foreshadows season 4 apocalypse storyline. Belle eventually agrees to join Stern. Was this intentional of planning and like setting up the pieces for season 4 of the apocalypse storyline? I don't remember. I don't remember if I knew season 4 was going to be about like this crazies in apocalypse, but I like that we foreshadowed it. That was you know what? I'm rewriting this. It was all planned. It was all planned. I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. Definitely knew it. It was fun foreshadowing, especially if you're watching it from like season 1 all the way straight through to season 6. It kind of threads nicely into season 4. I'm very proud of myself. You know what? We'll take it. This would have been a really good episode if Gizzy and Jordan were like actually in the recordings together bantering. But I also don't understand Gizzy's like motivation of like not wanting to help his friends. This feels a little bit out of character for Gizzy. I don't know. It just feels like I'm missing the mark. I think like from my brain set at the time when I was writing it, it's like I was just so panicking about like getting myself out of there. I don't know. It just feels a little bit out of character for me. Why would I leave Core behind? Wouldn't I want to save everyone? I don't know. I don't get it. I feel it just feels out of place. The writing is like it's out of place for Ace. It's out of place for Gizzy. Like, what happened? Episode 9. White has been captured and Stern kills him. Belle is forced to eat him or be killed. This was off camera, so we don't see Belle eat anyone. She is also sent to find Gizzy, Jordan, and Core at the factory looking for gasoline to kill them. Strangers seek help from Darko and Rachel helps them, but Darko then kills them. He has robes now, by the way, and I don't know how he got the robes. Rachel sneaks out of the house to go and speak with Herobrine. Gizzy, Jordan, and Core find the gasoline, but they are stopped by Belle. Core distracts Belle as Gizzy and Jordan escape. Kib and Nancy make it to the hangar and they see Bailey captured. They realize Stern is alive, and so Nancy distracts the cannibal while Kib kills the others and saves Bailey. Kib and Bailey work together to fix the plane. Rachel finds Herobrine, who has a new voice. I don't know. I don't remember what happened to the old voice. But again, this keeps happening. Old voice actors are not available to commit, and they're replaced. This is the third person now. I guess fourth character now. You got Kib, you got Daisy, you got Luke, and then you got Herobrine. I'm sorry! I didn't know this was gonna happen! Herobrine also teleports her back to her safe house. We have teleportation now in this... Belle corners Core, and he manages to convince her to do the right thing and help save the heroes. They also kiss! Hallelujah! They finally get together, kinda. Core convinces Belle to stand up against Stern and convince the cannibals to see her as their leader. And Herobrine can now talk... So we have teleportation, and Herobrine can talk through his minions. We have a new voice, and... I tried to retcon a lot of this in season 4, because I realized, like, this sucks. The damage is too far done, though. It's hard, though. Can we also talk about Belle? Real quick. Let's talk about Belle. Also, pop quiz. Heroes of, time. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Belle is the best character in this season. I like Belle starting from like season 1, the end of season 1 and season 2. Like her storyline and her motivations all just made sense throughout the entire show. She's been feeling trapped and bored from going from police officer to receptionist, and she missed having an adventure. She froze and choked when Luke died, even though she's a police officer. She was supposed to help, but she couldn't. She struggled with her confidence and was tricked by Stern to join him. But after talking with Core and then having that romantic moment, she realizes that she is the same woman that she used to be as the police officer, and then she ends up becoming the queen of cannibals. Oh my gosh. Let's go. She helped take down Acid, and now she helps take down Stern. Then she's gonna rule the island. Like, oh my gosh, we love that. Go Belle. Go Belle. I'm Team Belle. Episode 10. Gizzy and Jordan find Bailey and Kib, and they fill the plane with gasoline. Before they could take off, the cannibals arrive along with Stern and Nancy. Stern wants to marry Nancy on the island, forcing the others to leave. Belle talks to the other cannibals and manages to convince them to be their new leader, and they begin to howl. Before letting the heroes leave, Stern wants them to watch Nancy get married to him. Unable to do anything. They watch the ceremony, but they hear howls and the cannibals run off. Belle is summoning the cannibals to leave Stern. Stern gets mad and he shoots the plane. Kip was trapped inside and Core shows up and saves him. Stern drags Nancy into the woods and they chase after them to a cliff. Out of options, Stern lets Nancy go but gets jealous seeing her with Jordan. He shoots and the bullet hits Kib. Jordan pushes Stern off the cliff to his death and he dies. Kip says farewell to Core and the others and he dies too. A plane lands and it's Roxanne and Lois. They reunite and Lois struggles to confess who she is and doesn't tell Gizzy she is his mother. Core returns to Belle and they talk in private and Belle reveals she can't leave. She needs to help the cannibals live a normal life now that Purge won't be a thing anymore. And Core can't stay with Belle because Belle told the cannibals that she ate Core. She can't deceive them. Belle asks Core to tell everyone that Belle is dead. Otherwise, they won't leave without her. The heroes climb aboard the plane and realize it's 7 a.m. and Purge is over. Rachel finds Darko killing that horse and realize he's too far gone. They've fallen too much out of love. Darko reveals a knife and Rachel reveals a gun. That's where it ends. I'm liking this, like, thread of Rachel to Darko to the one must kill the other, because the next episode is sick. Like, super sick. Rewatched it recently. It's sick. If we had to go through this BS religious storyline, threading Darko being brainwashed, Ace getting killed, Herobrine, just to get to this final episode. Fine, whatever. This is a great last episode, finishing off like the pirates and cannibal storyline. It all kind of comes together. I like it a lot. I'm satisfied enough. Kib was supposed to go on and continue us in future seasons, kind of like me, Kib, and Jordan. The voice actor and Kib, and we were like, okay, we have to write Kib out. So I guess Kib's a fun one and done season. You know, he was only in season 3. Fine, we're cool with that. Episode 11! 2 months later, it's Nancy and Jordan's wedding. Lois has accepted a job to work for Roxanne as a new security now that Luke and Belle are gone. Lois still hasn't told Gizzy who she really is. Gizzy also got a job at the White House. As Jordan and Nancy officially get married, Darko shows up and takes a seat, revealing he is no longer with Rachel. Rachel meets with Herobrine and realizes the prophecy, one must kill the other, is going to happen at the wedding. With Darko brainwashed, she believes Darko will kill someone and runs off to save them. Ooh, this is fun. Like, pieces are coming together. Just you wait. Gizzy makes a speech and puts on 1,000 Years On for the happy couple to dance to. This song becomes important later. As everyone is happy, Gizzy decides he wants to try to find his brother. Darko reveals he knows who his brother was and reveals Johnson was the brother this entire time. The mariner who died on Cannibal Island. What? What? This feels fine. It's a fun twist. Like, I like that twist. It's fine. It's fun. It's cool. It's funny. It should have been the other way around where, like, we shouldn't have introduced the mother. Johnson should have been found by Ace. Teams up with Roxanne. Johnson is the pilot, is at the wedding, or, like, saves Gizzy, about to tell him who he is. Chickens out, doesn't tell him. And then he befriends Gizzy, not telling him his true identity. That's what it should have been. That's not what we got. Gizzy freaks out and runs off thinking his entire family is dead, unaware that his mother is Lois. Jordan checks on him and they also mention about the apocalypse again. Worried Stern might be right. Ooh, referencing the next season. We love that. As Jordan and Gizzy hug, Jordan heads back inside and shortly after there was a gunshot and a scream. Someone has just been killed! 5 minutes earlier, Rachel showed up to the wedding to make sure everyone is okay. Rachel tries to warn everyone someone is going to die, but no one believes her. Roxanne even laughs about the God and prophecy stuff. Maybe that's my way of laughing about it too, I don't know. Rachel finds a bag from Roxanne and finds a gun inside. She realizes she needs to kill Darko since he's corrupted, and before he kills anyone at the wedding, she goes up to Darko and takes off the mask to reveal burns across his face. Rachel aims the gun at Darko with Roxanne, Lois, Bailey, Cole, and Nancy standing around her.
Rachel has a gun at my wedding? Nancy! Give me the gun!
No, stop! Get off me! I'm losing grip of the trigger!
Don't! Stop! She's gonna... Nancy! Get back!
Jordan enters the room to see what has happened as Core tries to grab the gun. A commotion breaks out and there is a shot. Herobrine is freed and returns to hell as his minions are no longer brainwashed. This was a super cute episode. All the characters coming together. Still hate the storyline with Herobrine and the minions, the brainwashing, blah, 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 blah. But the slow tension building up to the moment, that's sick. Love that. Such a shocker cliffhanger, and that was where the season ended. So you guys didn't know who actually died. I also think at the time, we didn't really know either. We were trying to, we were dabbling with ideas. We could have played it safe. We could have killed off, a side character like Bailey. We could have killed off Lois, and then Gizzy found out that Lois was his mother the entire time. I knew I didn't want to kill off Core because I wanted to reintroduce Core and Belle's storyline because I knew Belle was still alive somewhere on the island. Obviously, it wasn't going to be Gizzy. It also wasn't going to be Rachel. She had the gun. I also don't think it was going to be Darko because people were expecting Rachel to shoot Darko. But the idea was that it was going to be a missed shot. Another idea that we could have went with was Harold, the president. So he wasn't in the wedding because, he's busy running the country. You know, typical president stuff. But if I wanted to play it smarter, I would have had Harold in the building. I would have had Harold shot and killed. A new president came in and reactivated the purge or did something with that. Something with that. Overall, I really like the cannibal storyline and the characters. The music and sound effects were way better. Just too bad about the audio issues. Jordan only doing voice lines definitely hurt the banter between us, and the world didn't feel as lived. While the final episode paid off with the prophecy, the B-plot with Herobrine was a huge letdown with so much inconsistency with the world. I know it's retconned in season 4 to try and fix the mistakes in the season, but it still doesn't change the fact that it hurt this season. Plus, we had 2 voice actors leave, being Kib and Minnie Muka, who played Herobrine. These glaring issues can't be ignored, so I'm going to give this season a 5 out of 10. Season 1 and 2, 8 out of 10, pretty strong. This season dropped a little bit. The cannibal storyline, pretty goated. Love Stern as a villain. But because of the issues, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I'm going to fight it off. I'm doing the words because of copyrighted music. I don't know the lyrics. Subscribe. Season 4! This season is all about the crazies and the apocalypse and what would happen to life if Purge was forever. Ooh. A lot of people actually stopped watching at this point, and there's a big reason why, and that's because Jordan is not in this season. Before we get into that, we need to talk about the first episode. The first episode followed on from after the wedding, where you guys were left on a cliffhanger, and who lived and who died. Well, let's get into episode 1. Nancy was revealed to be the one who was shot and killed. Jordan swears revenge against Rachel. While Bailey disappeared, Darko joins Gizzy and Jordan to the apartment Rachel was staying at after breaking up with Darko. The others find Rachel in the apartment and confront her and Bailey. Jordan explains his happy ever after with a small cottage and a daughter. Rachel hands Jordan the gun, feeling guilty for what she's done, and Gizzy stops Jordan from shooting her, and he puts him in the closet. Darko collapses as the fire breaks out. While Bailey gets Darko out of the apartment, Rachel escapes escapes, leaving Gizzy and Jordan inside, trapped. Jordan saves Gizzy, but falls through the floors and dies. The others escape. Rewatching this from episode 1, season 1, all the way to this point in just non-stop, basically, broke my heart. There was a big reason why this happened. But first, like I promised you in way back when we talked about season 1, here's the reaction of me and Jordan. So Jordan's gonna be back now. Help! I don't want to die in the closet!
Gizzy? Gizzy, are you okay? I need to get to Rachel.
Jordan! You can't do both! Quick! You can get revenge and kill Rachel, or you can save me, your friend!
You saved me.
Jordan!
Oh, fine. Hold on, Gizzy. I'm coming.
Jordan, you came back for me! We gotta get out of here!
Of course. I realized what's more important. We will find Rachel, and we will get her.
Yeah, dude, we have to figure out how to get out of here. There's no way out. Maybe into the bedroom.
I don't know. We've got to find a way.
I don't know. Maybe the window? It's just so scary. Ah!
Gizzy. I don't think we can make it.
I don't think we can either. What do we do? Are we gonna die? Is this seriously it? Are we gonna die together? This is how this world ends?
Honestly, I'd rather die. I've been through so much. I would rather be with Nancy.
Jordan, no, you can't say that. Jordan!
No, Jordan,
don't
no.
say that, okay? Listen, we'll get out of here, okay?
Gizzy, I want you to know I love you, man.
Jordan, no, don't be silly, okay? We're gonna get out of here. We're gonna get out of here, okay?
No, I want to be with my
This
wife.
is so incredible.
I'm
Like this.
tired.
Jordan, we'll get out of here, okay? Don't worry about this. Look, we'll get out. The door's open. Bailey, help us! Bailey!
Gizzy, I love you, man.
No! Jordan!
Oh, the cinematic.
So good. Shout out to Sawyer, my boy. God, working on this. Oh my god. The extra stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, the music, the fire in your eyes.
Yeah, that was
oh
really
my
good.
god, it's so good. And I love this shot coming up. That one. Oh my god.
Great. I'm getting goosebumps.
I know. I'm getting goosebumps.
Wow.
It's crazy. Damn. Oh,
Damn.
that was a lot of comments. I think that was like almost 2,000 comments, all just freaking out.
Hey, what did that comment say? As Jordan was falling.
As Jordan was falling down, I was thinking of all the times that you guys were good on the Purge, and then he died. This is heartbreaking, but I still love you, Gizzy Gazza.
God, I almost like teared up a little bit.
It was a good show.
Really
Good show.
great.
I'm back. Whoa, it's just me again. Did you like that? That was fun. It ended off like we having like this like epiphany moment of like Jordan is with Nancy and like their daughter that they wanted to have. They have a happy ever after in this cottage in the middle of nowhere. They are there somewhere, just not here. And they're like reunited together at the end. And then the music that was played 1,000 years is the same music that they danced to in the wedding. What? I promise you I'm a good writer. I promise I'm a good writer. This was great. This was accomplished very much by a whole bunch of different people. Of course, Jordan and myself, the team, as well as Sawyer, who helped animate the death scene. Sawyer's the same person who did my Clue intros. He helped me a lot with Purge. Speaking of which, Sawyer does a lot of the editing in this season. So if you notice the editing's a little bit different in this season, a bit more dramatic, that's because Sawyer was editing the episodes. And I think with Jordan leaving, we needed this season to have something for people to keep watching. Oh boy, is this season the most dramatic season. Like, I know a lot of people stopped watching after Jordan dies because they wanted the Gizzy and Jordan duo, but if you give it another chance, or at least just watch this recap, and you can see we needed to change it up, and honestly it works without Jordan in it. When I recently rewatched season 4, I realized you don't need Jordan in this season. It's genuinely really good, and everybody else, or the rest of the cast, holds up too. The reason why we killed off Jordan is because he wanted to leave. He didn't want to do Purge anymore. He wasn't uploading Minecraft anymore on the channel. He just wanted to pursue something else. Originally, we wanted to kill off Nancy, and that was going to be the twist, and Jordan was going to like process his life afterwards. There was going to be like an A plot with like Jordan versus Rachel the entire season. We had it written where Nancy was going to die in this one still, but Jordan came to me and was like, I don't want to be in anymore. And I came to the idea of like, why don't we kill you off? And like, we knew it needed to be dramatic and like epic, and Sawyer was on board to do something really cool. When we first watched it, oh my gosh. I wish I could rewind time or like get that memory out of me so I could rewatch it for the first time again. It was incredible. With Jordan deciding to leave, I decided that this would be originally the last season. Episode 2. Howard explains to Roxanne and Lois that there is a gene inside everyone where if they can't purge, it makes them crazy, and crime has risen in the past month compared to the rest of the year. Anyone who used the purge actively will feel the trigger. The crazies. I really like this. I think I could have worded it a bit better, but I kind of like the idea of like, okay, so people got comfortable and used to the purge. So the people who used to purge now need to purge. And then you just remove the purge. These people who need to purge, count how many times I say purge. The people who need to purge are now like, I have this thing inside me and I need to like release it somehow, and it makes them crazy. I kind of like that. Some bodyguards turned against the president and captured them, including Tink, the scientist, who is a new character, who happens to be my love interest. Lois, however, escaped. I also work at the White House now, and I've been working with Tink, and we've like started to develop like feelings for each other. While dealing with shock, Gizzy thinks everything has become an 80s comedy sitcom. Crazies ambush the church, forcing them to run, but they capture Bailey. Lois helps free Tink, Roxanne, and Harold, but Dexter shows up and frees everyone except Harold. Gizzy, Court, and Darko find Roxanne, Tink, and Lois in Ace's cafe, and Lois thinks there's a secret message since she knew Ace. They find the secret message, but before reading it, the TV turns on with Dexter assassinating Harold in front of everyone and putting a bounty on Gizzy. The apocalypse has begun. Like, it's incredible. It's honestly, the high stakes already set so much. He's sent everyone around the world to kill me.
And Harold is dead.
Guys, I don't think you're seeing the big picture here. This is an apocalypse.
You know where I talked about like the point of no return in previous seasons, where season 2, we've got captured, turned into slaves, and we're stuck in the White House. Season 3, we're stuck on the island, no way to contact for help, and we're being chased by cannibals. This is that moment right away in episode 2. Dexter has assassinated Harold, one of the main characters who was the president. Gizzy has now a bounty on his head because he has stopped acid in the past. Dexter has personal beef with Gizzy as well, and we don't know why at this moment. And everybody has been accepted and welcomed as the crazies to now just do purge forever. Oh my god, like I don't even have the words. I don't even have the words. It's incredible. It's so good. I also I just love the 80s comedy thing that I just threw in. Like, I think it was like a nice like balance of like, you know, which is this huge drama, gotta throw in some comedy still. And I kind of like the idea of like, I'm in an 80s sitcom and like the laughing track. I think it's fun. We can still have fun. We can have fun on this channel, right? Right? We can still have fun. Episode 3. Dexter convinces Bailey to hunt down Gizzy after learning Jordan is dead, and he shoots hot gold down his throat, forcing him to permanently be muted. I just remembered when I was rewatching this that Tortoise wasn't available too much in this season. I don't remember why. We didn't want to ride out Bailey, and like for similar reasons in the past, we would just kill off the characters. I didn't want to do that with Bailey and Tortoise's character. There was too much I could do with Bailey that I didn't want to let go. So we had it written where like he couldn't talk for the whole show. And, well, the whole season, at least. The heroes listened to the message from the grave to learn Ace slept with Rachel before Darko met her, and that Billy could be his son. The message also reveals Gizzy's mom is still alive, with Gizzy unaware that it's Lois. But Gizzy reveals he actually hates his mom for never finding him. Darko leaves to find Rachel, while Gizzy, Core, Tink, Lois, and Roxanne leave to find Core's brother Rocky, who might have a solution since he's a scientist. Darko finds Rachel's family, Enzo, Abigail, Evan, and Demi, who haven't seen Rachel in years, blaming Darko for taking her away from them. Enzo worked for Dexter, and they needed to go and get more gold or risk them all being killed. Darko agrees to keep an eye on Abigail and Demi while they go get gold. Darko reveals his burnt scars on his face were because of Enzo. The other heroes make it to the biodome where Rocky lives, and they find shelter inside. They explain about the antidote, but Rocky reveals he can make it, but they need to test it on a crazy. Meanwhile, Core, who used to purge, starts to go crazy himself. We just seem to be jump cutting, like we're not world building again. This is a problem we've been having since basically season 2. We just jump cut from place to place. Like we're at the Ace hideout, and then boom, we're at the biodome. Where's the urgencies? Where's the crazies? Come on, you show like we're in an apocalypse. Show me the apocalypse. It would have been really cool to see the heroes escaping the crazies. Heroes versus crazies. We needed more of that. Why set us up if you're not going to do it? Who wrote this? Who wrote this? Oh, me. I'm also a big fan of like this big more lore, like Rachel's family. I also wanted like mixed cast. Like we didn't want to just do all white people. We also learned that no one has seen Rachel. No one knows where Rachel is. We actually don't see Rachel until like way later in the season, which is kind of like this mystery. Like, where is Rachel? Where's Rachel? Batman slept, so Gizzy Gazza can run, okay? Oh, real quick as well, before we go to episode 4. Enzo, one of my favorite written characters ever. He's so complex, and I love writing complex characters. Also, fun fact, he was voice acted by someone in episode 3. I don't remember who. Some British guy, and never returned. We got a way better voice actor who continued on all the way to season 6. Episode 4, flashback of when Enzo was responsible for Darko burning his face. We love lore. We love lore. Flashbacks. We love flashbacks. Gizzy and Tink team up to fix the filter spray, which is a giant antenna that'll shoot the antidote across the world. While working together, they start to develop feelings for each other. They already had feelings for each other, but it's kind of like blossoming even more since they're teaming up. Tink is also super cautious and shy and scared of the purge. She never usually purges. She usually just hides out. So being out with the crazies is very new to her. Core, Roxanne, and Lois are hunting some crazies when they begin to argue, and Roxanne tells Core that Lois is Gizzy's mom. Core turns crazy, and the two girls are forced to bring him in to test on him. I love this. Now Core and Rocky have to do tests on each other. Oh my god, Core's crazy. This also is great for like giving Core something to do in this season. Like he's had his fun in the sun in like season 3 with Belle, and now like he has nothing to do. He's got something to do. Enzo and Evan overhear miners that they are the sole contractors and other miners are on their way to wipe out their family. They decide to stay behind to attack the double-crossing miners in hope Darko can protect Abigail and Demi back at the house. Rocky reveals there is an 80% chance the cure won't work and it will kill the crazy, just as the others return to reveal Core is the crazy. Rocky doesn't want to use the cure on him in case it kills his brother, but has no other choice. They tie Core to the bed and inject him with the cure. Bailey is outside and discovers their hideout. It appears I did not write this down, but Bailey is forced to team up with Dexter to scout, which is when he got the gold shot in his mouth. I don't remember if I said that, but I'm just saying it now just in case. And if I did say it, then I said it twice. And he's forced to do it. Bailey doesn't want to do it, but he's forced to do it. Enzo and Evan are successful in stopping the miners, but the others arrive at the house and Darko starts to protect his family. Abigail let it slip that she knows where Rachel is, but they attack and Demi goes missing. Abigail agrees that if Darko saves Demi, she will tell him where Rachel is. I am 4 episodes in this season, and I'm honestly loving it. I don't know if it's just because I'm a fan of cinematography, but I'm also a big fan of the writing with like the characters. It doesn't just feel like us walking around and something happens like in season 1. It feels like there's an actual plot and there's stakes and characters have an arc. And it just feels really fleshed out and the characters feel really secure and you just want to root for everybody. I think just the writing, but also the editing, the cinematography, the way that it was filmed. Like I think everybody, not just me, obviously, everybody on the show who worked on the show did an excellent job in this season. Yes, Jordan is no longer in it. And yes, that did hurt the viewership. But to those who did watch it, I think very much enjoyed it. People are sleeping on this season, okay? You're sleeping. Don't sleep on season 4. I like to have like some kind of staples to each season to kind of make them stand out from each other. Each season has a theme. Season 1 is the hunters. Season 2 is the president. Season 3 is the cannibals. Season 4 is the crazies. Boom, 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 boom. Season 5 is about Jordan's family. Ooh. And then season 6, I think, is like prison break, something like that. I also made a note here, which I'm going to read out loud. If Jordan didn't die, where would he fit in? What would Jordan's story be? Like, I guess he could be mostly part of B-plot and kind of help Darko and Jordan. Like, we split up still, but I feel like people would want us to be together. So you see what I mean? I really like season 4, and I didn't even know where Jordan would fit in. So maybe him leaving the show was a blessing? I don't know. You let me know. Why don't you let me know? Why don't you rewatch season 4 and let me know? Episode 5! Bailey returns to the White House and tells Dexter he found Gizzy and they've been working on a cure. Demi is revealed to have been taken to the White House, but Dexter decides to keep her alive since she is the daughter of the family who helps him mine gold. Dexter's job before taking over the White House was that he was like mining gold and selling gold and was working with miners. Hence why Enzo and his family was killing the other miners so they could be the only ones. Darko and Enzo are forced to team up to go and save Demi while Abigail and Evan stay at the house. Darko points out that it's never Enzo's fault. This will be a pattern. Enzo is never in the wrong. It's never Enzo's fault. That'll be important later. Gizzy learns that Roxanne would be the next president since Harold never selected a vice president, with Roxanne agreeing to honor Harold's legacy and kill Purge. Gizzy wants to know if Core is a good guy or not, and Core confesses he's been using them this entire time and also reveals Belle is alive. He also reveals Lois is Gizzy's mother, but Gizzy doesn't believe him. Core manages to break free and runs off. As Core escapes the biodome, he drops in pain and reveals the cure worked and he's no longer crazy. Darko and Enzo manage to free Demi, but while escaping, get captured by Bailey. Meanwhile, Rocky and Tink, who stayed inside the biodome, are surrounded by Dexter and the crazies, while Gizzy, Core, Roxanne, and Lois are outside. Just, if you're watching like season 1 and season 4, the difference is insane. Like, it's incredible. Episode 6. Dexter uses explosives to get inside the biodome and Rocky is shot. They hide out inside the shack waiting for help, but Rocky is bleeding out. Gizzy, Core, Roxanne, and Lois show up, and Gizzy agrees to go with Dexter if everyone else lives. While Gizzy and Dexter head back to the White House, the others return to find Rocky dead and the filter spray destroyed. They still have the cure though, but they don't know what to do next. Oh, Rocky was voice acted by Caveman Films. Fun fact. Who also voice acted Douglas in season 1, but I don't think anyone else noticed. Gizzy's put in prison by Bailey, who is still working for Dexter. Enzo is taken away as Gizzy is left with Darko and Demi. Crazies attack Evan and Abigail, and Evan is forced to be locked in the basement as he starts to turn crazy himself. Since he used to purge before everything ended, he's now turning crazy, and he's fearing that he might hurt his mom. So he locks himself in the basement, but he finds a crowbar. Oh no! Enzo explains the miner who took Demi lied, and Dexter just straight up kills him. Dexter wants to continue to work with Enzo and allows him and Demi to go, but tells Dexter to keep Darko hostage. Monster? That's your son-in-law! Enzo does not like Darko for many reasons, so he's purposely leaving Darko in prison as the others escape. Gizzy is taken to the Oval Office for Dexter to start the live broadcast to execute Gizzy live in front of everyone. During the broadcast, Gizzy reveals there is a cure and tells everyone to try and fight the trigger inside them. You see what I meant about like Enzo's complex like writing? I seem to have a favorite character each season. Belle was season 3. I have to admit that Enzo might be my favorite in season 4. There are strong contenders though. Like I love everybody. Everyone's doing great. Acid has Ace or Acid. I'm gonna have to say Ace in season 2. Season 1 probably Sasha. I like villains. I guess it seems to that I like villains. I like the bad guy. That also happens in an Altered Adventure. My favorite character in Altered Adventure, the other show that I worked on, is Inferno. Inferno is my favorite character in Altered Adventure. Episode 7. Bailey gave Dexter a gun with no bullets and helps Gizzy escape, but stays behind to slow down Dexter. Gizzy helps Darko, and a security guard who heard Gizzy's speech helps them both escape. It's working! The crazies are like controlling that trigger inside them. We love that. They decide to head back to the biodome. Core and Roxanne send a message to Belle on Cannibal Island and hope they could reach her, but no response. Tink has found another filter spray, which is on a beach, and leaves a message for Gizzy to read in case he returns. Lois regrets not telling Gizzy the truth as the four of them leave to the beach. As they leave, they miss a response from Belle. Belle is back. Oh my gosh. Bailey is put in the torture chamber, but before being tortured, Dexter is attacked by his own soldiers who turned against him and set off a bomb. Remember a reference to season 2? There was another bomb, kind of like a failsafe. Like if something happens to the White House, they could just set off the bomb and kill people who like take over the White House, which Harold did not do twice. First with Acid and now Dexter. Harold, what are you doing? Dexter escapes and heads to the biodome to find Gizzy. Bailey survived the bomb after hiding inside the lab. Gizzy and Darko make it to the biodome and find the secret message telling them to go to the beach. Darko needs to find Rachel and return to her family home for answers. They are unaware Dexter was listening and is following Gizzy to the beach. Dexter would know that Gizzy would go back to the biodome since he has nowhere else to go. So Dexter followed Gizzy after escaping the White House's explosion and has now discovered that Gizzy and everyone is at the beach. Demi and Enzo return home to find Abigail dead and Evan escaping. They assume Evan went crazy and killed his mom, and Enzo wants revenge. I also made a note here that Roxanne's character development has been great as well. She's really taken on the leader role, which we never really saw much of her in season 2 and season 3. I think I just never liked the skin, so I didn't really give much to Roxanne. Plus in season 3, she was really sidelined since she was kind of like mostly the B plot that just showed up to save the day at the end. Here we really get to see her shine, and now with Howard dead and her taking over becoming basically the president, she really shows her leadership, and I like that. That's really cool. Episode 8! Roxanne, Core, Lois, and Tig arrive at the beach, but they are attacked by an evil Santa and his elves. This was a Christmas special, just to clarify. Gizzy is attacked by Evan, but thanks to his speech on the live broadcast, Evan is able to control himself and realize they have mutual friends, and they leave to the beach together. Darko returns home to find Abigail dead, but calls Rachel on her phone. Enzo continues to blame Darko for everything. At the beach, Gizzy and Evan stop the Santa and elves and free the friends. Gizzy also hid the cure inside a present. This is where Gizzy says that he's never killed anyone, which isn't true, since he's killed some pirates in season 3, as well as he attacked the very first person in the very first episode, unsure if he was dead or not. Gizzy would not assume that he lived, so like, why would he just say, I've never killed anyone? Oh, pirates don't count. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Gizzy forgot which present he put it in, so the heroes open up presents together to find the cure. Gizzy and Tink have a moment together and they share a kiss. And Lois finally tells Gizzy the truth that she's his mother, making him storm off upset. When Gizzy ran off, Dexter shows up and finds the heroes. Darko finds out where Rachel is. She's in hell. Enzo and Demi tag along, wanting to find a way to reunite their family with Abigail, now dead. Episode 9. This is completely all one plot episode. This is all focused on Rachel, Enzo, Darko, Demi, and kind of explaining that storyline. And I'm not actually in this episode, which is weird for my channel, but it works. It genuinely works. Let me explain. Rachel went to find her friend who was shot and killed by the crazies. Oh, so we've gone back in time, by the way. Rachel discovers Herobrine on a billboard, and so she heads to the carnival to confront him. She discovers the realization that Herobrine is actually Hubert and was a fraud this entire time. He's actually a psychic reader at the carnival. Hubert explains he knows tricks he learned from other carnies he works with, which is why he can create fire. It's all an act. Hubert agrees for Rachel to stay at the carnival in return not to tell Darko the truth he was never brainwashed. Darko calls Rachel and she agrees for him to come visit. Hubert does a psychic reading on Rachel to learn she is going to die by the hands of someone she's hurt. She believes it's about Jordan, not realizing he's dead. Darko, Demi, and Enzo show up and Darko finds Hubert, but Rachel lies and says that he's a carnival act pretending to be Herobrine. Rachel learns Demi was captured and Enzo left Darko to die, and he still refuses to take accountability. Darko starts to turn crazy and they lock him in a prison since he used to purge. Darko, while crazy, reveals he knows Billy could be Ace's kid. Rachel storms off upset. Rachel explains to Enzo that Darko is Billy's father and that she never slept with Ace because he still loved Lois. Ace is still playing his tricks. Remember in the message he said that he slept with Rachel? This man, he plays his tricks, even from beyond the grave. Hubert tells Enzo about the psychic reading and they both fear Darko will kill Rachel. Hubert is worried about Darko finding out that he was never brainwashed, and Enzo blames Darko for Rachel not wanting to be in their family. So they come together and agree they need to kill Darko. Demi overheard the conversation. This is such a setup for such an incredible episode next episode. Like, this is the why we re-uploaded the next episode, episode 10. I highly recommend going to watch that in full. The audio is fixed. It's copyrighted, so I'm not making any money from it. But please go watch it. It is incredible. I'm so proud of it. I edited this one myself. I told Sawyer, like, hey, I'm doing something. I need to do this one. It's incredible. Highly recommend go watch it. Okay, and then come back. Episode 10! Enzo and Hubert lock Demi in a room as they go and kill Darko. But overhear Darko and Rachel talking about taking Demi away from Enzo. Enzo panics and blames Darko for manipulating Rachel. Lois, Core, and Roxanne let Santa go and take his weapons. Evan wants to stay to help Gizzy. Tink manages to get the filter spray to work, but Dexter shows up and holds her hostage. Bailey finds Gizzy and warns him, using charades, that Dexter found them. They see the others captured and Dexter holding the cure. Gizzy frees Evan and they get the weapons and start shooting the crazies. Dexter takes Tink away and Gizzy follows after them. On the roof, Gizzy chooses Tink and Dexter throws the cure over the edge and reveals he is Acid's youngest brother, which is why he had so much beef against Gizzy. And also the similarities of like Acid and Dexter explains a lot because they are brothers. Lois shows up and reveals she caught the cure and she shoots Dexter. He falls to his death and dies. Gizzy thanks his mom as Tink uses the filter spray and cures everyone. I'm also going to keep this line very short as to what happens in this one because I want to push people to go watch it. I worked very hard on this. Meanwhile, in a dramatic ending, Enzo tricks Darko into thinking Rachel lied and that Ace is Billy's father. In a heat of anger, Darko shoots and kills Rachel. There is so much more context that goes into that, but I really don't want to share too much. I genuinely want you to go watch that episode. Like, it's one of my proudest moments in the 16 years of YouTube. This scene with Rachel's death, I'm very proud of it all coming together and how it's edited and the music, the cinematography, how it was filmed, the characters, like, everything is, I'm very proud. Very proud. There's a lot of proud moments in Purge. This is one of them. This is one of my proud moments in the entirety of my career. I'm very proud of this scene. Please go watch it. I worked very hard on it. Episode 11! With Abigail and Rachel both dead, Enzo and his family begin to fall apart and Enzo starts to blame everyone except himself again. Evan shows up and reveals the truth. He ran away to avoid killing Abigail. Evan takes Demi away. Gizzy and Tink head to Darko's home to help take care of him, watching a news report that Roxanne has taken over as president. Evan and Demi show up and tell Darko Enzo planned to kill Darko at the carnival. Enzo wants to kill Darko for revenge, but Hubert shows up. The two argue and Hubert is pushed into a basement and lands on a knife. Bleeding out, Enzo leaves him to die. At the hospital, Darko gets a blood test done and confirms Billy is his. He's the dad, meaning Enzo lied, which led to Rachel's death. They head to the farm to confront him. Sidetrack, name reveal, Dot Congo is Darko's real name. I just put that there. A little fun fact, just in case you want to know. Darko's real name is Dot. Just in case you want to know. Okay. We'll carry on. During the dinner, the friends say farewell and Lois and Bailey reveal to be dating. Belle has returned from Carnival Island and reunites with Core. Darko, Demi, and Evan find Enzo hiding Hubert's body in Rachel's grave, and he finally confesses that it was all his fault for everything. They decide to let him live, but they all walk away from him, never wanting to see him again. There's a montage ending revealing everyone getting their final farewell. Demi and Evan move into Darko's, while Darko ditches his mask and boards a plane, leaving to start a new chapter of his life. Core and Belle get engaged on a cruise. Enzo is alone, while Gizzy, Tink, Bailey, and Lois are together in their home. I don't know if I'm biased, but like, I just have to think about the audience perspective and going into the show. It's season 1 with how like low edited, low effort, like kind of upbeat, funny me and Jordan collab duo work, to then becoming this cinematic, really sad, in-depth like piece of art. I'm going to rank this season very high because I'm very proud of the season, but the audience may not agree with me. So I wrote out like a bunch of points and you can just agree and disagree with me. This season gets a lot of hate because Jordan wasn't in it, but it's honestly such an incredible season, and the cinematography compared to season 1 is insane. There's so many countless moments to remember just in this season alone. So much happens in this season. With the crazies, the Rachel storyline, the Herobrine retcon. Thank you! Lois telling Gizzy the truth, the dead wedding, the funny 80s sitcom moment. Genuinely, if you've not seen season 4, go watch season 4. If anything, go watch the whole show. I'm gonna give this season personally an 8 out of 10, similar to season 1 and season 2. I definitely dropped the points because of the lack of banter between Jordan and I, and also the world building again. Sometimes it felt a bit too serious and not as funny. We didn't have to rush to each location. Could have just let the world live a little bit longer. Should have seen more crazies, definitely. But the introductions of new characters such as Dexter, Rocky, and Tink, and also Rachel's family felt naturally like they fit into the world and the heroes. And the characters are so complex, you don't really know which one is your favorite. I feel like if I ask everybody who's your favorite character of season 4, everyone is going to give me a different answer. I feel like 8 out of 10 feels right. That was where the show was originally going to end. Or, I mean, it did end. We gave everybody, mostly everybody, a happy ending. We also walked away from the show for 2 years. I actually quit Minecraft for like a year and a bit because I went off to do animations. Because animations on my channel was doing incredibly well, which is why we have 2 channels. The Gizzy Gazza Cartoons was the original channel that we did, which is where most of the Purge that you probably watched on that channel. We focused more on cartoons in 2018 because that was what was going insanely viral. And the algorithm was only pushing the animations and it was no longer pushing the Minecraft content. So I was like, I feel like as a business move, I should focus on the animations. And that's what I did. I think at that point, that's where like most of like the people who used to watch me walked away. When I made the new Minecraft channel, not a lot of people returned and subscribed. We uploaded season 5 of The Purge on the cartoon channel, among other cartoons, 2 years after we already finished the show, and the view count has definitely dropped significantly. Then we uploaded season 6 on the other channel with a different thumbnail style because I was trying to like ride the algorithm. Yeah, if you're looking at these views, like I'm looking at the season 5 right now, and it's like Minecraft The Purge Prison Wedding season finale, 20k views. It's not bad. It's not bad. Used to get 100k views, but okay, that's fine. Then the following video after that, Sonic Logic, 1.6 million, and then 3 million. 8.7 million, 53 million views. Like, you can see why I had to stop doing Minecraft, at least on this channel. Also, completely unrelated, the reason why we stopped doing cartoons, it's been 4 years, is because they just cost too much money and the videos are too short where they don't really make a return. I make way more money making the Minecraft videos, and I enjoy making the Minecraft videos more than the cartoons. So it just made more sense for me to just focus on Minecraft and also like a little bit of Roblox and live streaming. I do TV now, like that's kind of my main thing that I do now, but also I do Gizzy for fun, which is, this video is for fun, which is why it's taken me so long to do, is because I'm just doing it in my own free time. Yeah, that's the little bit of lore, Gizzy lore, there you go. All right, now we'll talk about season 5.
We are the heroes of our time, heroes.
Season 5. All right, so these next 2 seasons weren't supposed to actually exist. So let me explain why they suddenly do exist. Well, 1, a lot of you guys wanted Purge to be back, and 2, Jordan wanted to do Purge. So between this time, between season 4 to season 5, both Jordan and I actually quit Minecraft to pursue other stuff, mostly animation. I then came back to Minecraft and just doing a little bit of Minecraft. Not as many views as I was getting, but I was still doing Minecraft, and I was kind of like jumping between like different channels kind of thing. Jordan wanted to come back and wanted to collab with me, and we pitched the idea of doing Purge again. So we rewrote it where Jordan actually survived in season 4 and just came back, and the story continued on. Like, I think a year after season 4. Rereading this, it's 2 years. 2 years after season 4. So in season 5, it's 2019. Season 5. Gizzy discovers Jordan survived and the duo reunite as Purge returns. Jordan and Gizzy need to save their friends from Jordan's estranged parents. What I like about this season is that it focuses a lot on stuff that we didn't really know about, such as Jordan's family. Like, we didn't really know much about Jordan's family history, and we kind of got those, like, missing pieces filled in, which I love. Episode 1! It's revealed after the apocalypse, during Roxanne's speech, Jordan was found alive after surviving falling into the blaze in Rachel's apartment. It's a presidential election between Roxanne and Dump, as Gizzy and Tink, who are living together, listen in nervously. Gizzy reveals he quit working at the White House to start an independent company with Cord that is struggling. We never look into this. We never talk about this ever again. I think I totally forgot about this. Cord and Belle return from their honeymoon, and Belle reveals the cannibals have all returned to civilization after not eating anyone for over 2 years. Belle asks when Gizzy and Tink plan on getting married, but they laugh her off. She gets a mysterious call from a person named Globe and sneaks off to meet him. Globe reveals he took over the Body Snatchers. The Body Snatchers wanted to continue to work, but with Belle going to the island, they looked elsewhere for work. Globe also teases the reality that deep down, even though the crazy is gone, people still want to purge. Globe wants Belle to work for him, but she refuses. Lois stops by and mentions she broke up with Bailey and also stopped working at the White House. Bailey got a job at the White House to work with Roxanne. They watch the presidential results and Dump won, and that Purge will return in 1 month. Belle returns and hugs Core before Globe shows up and shoots her. They all freak out and race her to the hospital. At the hospital, as Belle fights for her life, Gizzy discovers Jordan in the other room. Gizzy argues with his sister, and he finally wakes up with scars along his face. As Jordan wakes up, Belle dies. We needed a reason to get everybody to the hospital, and I didn't really have anywhere to like put Belle in this new kind of era with season 5. Also, the Body Snatchers. Oh my gosh, I genuinely just forgot about the Body Snatchers throughout most of the show. So that was a nice way of like bringing them back and tying in loose ends. We also needed to like kill off a main character to kind of like this huge welcome back after 2 years of like the Purge. With Jordan coming back, we wanted like this big, with this other shock, like, okay, Jordan's back, but we need this other shock factor. Belle had to go. And that hurt me too, because as you may remember, I said earlier in this video, I love Belle, and I really like Belle, and I love writing for Belle. So it wasn't an easy decision, but it was the right decision. Now we also have a motivation for Core to do something this season before he later dies in this season. Belle also had another voice actor. This is her 3rd or 4th. We needed to kill her off. She's had like 3 to 4 different voice actors over the span of the show. It was time to let her go. Similar with Kip, similar Luke, similar Daisy. 3 to 4 voice actors for one character is too much. Okay, fine. We'll talk about Dump very quickly. Very, very quickly. I don't like it either. It puts a stain in my mouth. I'm like, I don't know. I wish I didn't go that route. I did go that route. We have to talk about it. I'm not a fan either. But it kind of works within the Purge world. Like, let's be honest. President Dump and Purge. And I don't know. My brain is like, this just kind of makes sense. I wrote here, I hope we never hear from Dump ever again. But season 6 happens. Oh boy. Episode 2! Globe meets with some parents about the Body Snatchers who have teamed up with them and wants Core to run them since they know about his past with the Wild Coyotes. They want Core to take over his dead wife's job. Globe goes to find him. They also mention missing money and people trapped for a tournament. Ooh, little tease of the season, little tease. What do you mean? Trapped for a tournament? What tournament? Oh my gosh. 1 month later, Jordan's out of the hospital with a new mask and jacket with an edgier personality. He hasn't had the chance to grieve Nancy since being in a coma, and they decide to stop by her grave, which was relocated from like when at the church to the graveyard. If you remember, it was at church. It's been relocated. As they say farewell, Anna, Jordan's sister, begins to worry about the Purge starting and wants Jordan to come home. Anna hands Jordan a gun and runs home. The Purge sirens begin, and Jordan wants to purge, and he aims his gun at Gizzy. His memory is fading, but Gizzy helps jog his memory, and Jordan wants to find his old self. They begin to cry and hug each other, but Purgers show up and attack them. They are forced to hide inside a cave, and they bump into someone called Skylar. It turns out Gizzy met him before at the hospital in the very first episode. Anna returns home and it's revealed the parents earlier are her and Jordan's parents, Articus and Dawn. Anna stole money from them, so Globe has been spying on her. Anna has been stealing from them to pay medical bills for Jordan, and that Jordan was exiled from the family. Anna is thrown into the pit inside the mansion and is also exiled. Articus and Dawn every purge host a last man standing tournament called The Pit. Anna is trapped inside it now, their own daughter. Inside the pit, someone offers to help and it's revealed to be Enzo. Back at the apartments, Core, Tink, and Lois are waiting for Gizzy when Globe shows up to collect Core to work for the Body Snatchers. Tink and Lois are captured too. I really like this reintroduction of the Body Snatchers. I love it. I think it fits really nicely. I also love how it kind of used to be used to kind of collect dead people, to collect their harvest their organs for good, but now it's been turned into this thing that's bad. I also like that it connects to Jordan's family. Like, it's all kind of tying all these threads together. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I clearly forgot about the Body Snatchers in like season 2, season 3, season 4. I don't remember at what point we lost track. But also the banter is back. Hello, the banter is back. Jordan is in live recordings. We're bantering. It feels good. There's also world building. It feels very season 1, and I mean that in a really good way. We have fourth wall breaking. We have swearing. What is happening? I'm really liking how natural this season feels so far. It does take a little bit of a pacing issue later, but as of right now, I'm feeling it and I'm liking it. I'm liking the new characters. I'm liking Dawn and Articus. I'm liking Skylar. I'm liking Anna. Not so much on Globe. We'll talk about Globe later. It's like combining the best parts of season 1 and the best parts of season 4. Like, it's still a little bit cinematic, but it's heavily more improv-y, more bantery, kind of like season 1. So far, okay. Season 5, I see you, season 5. I see you. I was worried, like, rewatching this, like, oh, it's not going to be as good as the original 4. But honestly, it's holding up. It's holding up for now. Episode 3. Tink and Lois are thrown in the pit and find Enzo and Anna. Cora is left at the top with Globe, Dawn, and Articus. Can I just real quick say that I love the name Articus? I don't know what it is. Articus. Articus? Articus. Not Artemis, like not Artemis. We need those C's. Articus. Oh, it just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It gives me the jingles. Just say it out loud. Articus. Articus. It just, I don't know. It feels like a fun name. I don't know. I haven't met an Articus. Is it even a real name? Jordan gets a call from Dawn taunting him that Anna is in the pit and she will die because of him. Jordan explains about his parents to Gizzy and wants to go save her, and Gizzy agrees to tag along. Ghost purges show up and they kidnap Skylar. Since he was innocent, they feel bad and agree to save him. They follow them into a bar and they break in and kill the ghosts and save Skylar. Skylar owes them his life and decides to tag along.
Wait. I should think of a cool open liner for this. What do you think?
Okay, yeah. You got this.
Daddy's home? Is that too much?
Oh, no.
Daddy's home, ghosts! Daddy's home! That's right!
I was gonna say... Oh, God. I was gonna say the Ghostbusters have arrived. Ghostbusters are here! Get out of my way! Meanwhile, Globe puts a shock collar on Core and tells him to go out and snatch bodies to throw into the pit. He wants a friend released, so Globe brings Tink out of the pit and puts a shock collar on her too, and kicks them both out of the house. This episode has a lot of charm of season 1. It's just like a fun little goofy adventure. There's purges that dress up as ghosts, and they actually do stuff that is like actually surprising in this world, is that they actually don't kill anyone. They're just chilling at a bar, drinking. Like, we don't see a lot of that in the world of Purge. Like, all crime is legal, and yet everybody defaults to just killing each other when, like, all crime's legal. You can just do other stuff. You can steal. You could just drink. At this very moment, I don't know how I feel about Skylar. I feel like Skylar's replacing what Kib should have been. I also worked very closely with Digitized Pixels, who voice act Skylar. Love Digi, and I wanted to work closely with Digi, so I think that's why we brought Skylar in. I also kind of like the callback to season 1, like he's technically the very first person that we met. I wanted to introduce Digi into the show, and I think this was my way of doing that. Episode 4! Darko, on a beach, gets a call that Evan was attacked and that Demi needs him. He buys a new Purge mask and flies home. Gizzy and Jordan stumble across the old apartments where Jordan almost died. He learns Rachel is dead. They get attacked and they hide out in a shelter nearby, and they are captured by a mad scientist. Gizzy is turned into a wolf. They kill the mad scientist and turn Gizzy back to normal. Meanwhile, Globe and Dawn are revealed to be secretly having an affair behind Articus's back. Core and Tink bump into Demi and they are forced to take her to the mansion. Darko shows up, unable to find her. Okay, this is a turning point in the season, because this episode... What is this episode? This is one of my least favorite episodes. This episode kind of sucks, lol. The less we talk about the furry filler episode, the better. We're turning people into werewolves. We're breaking that realism that I hated in season 3 with the Herobrine stuff. It's never even clear and explained why Demi and Darko were in those woods at that moment. It just feels a bit too coincidental and too random and too specific, where of course Core and Tink happens to find the one person they already know in the middle of the woods. What? It feels too forced, okay? There's literally even a scene with Enzo, Anna, and Lois in the pit, but it's literally a nothing burger. I didn't even talk about it. This episode is probably one of my least favorites, along with season 3, episode 5. That other one we talked about, which I also hated. Episode 5! Gizzy and Jordan and Skylar make it through a town on their way to Jordan's mansion, and Skylar realizes it's a town he grew up in. He wants to find his parents, but they're missing, and his home is destroyed. Skylar discovers his parents are dead. A girl shows up who recognizes Skylar, who reveals she killed his parents. Skylar explains about the gold diggers, and he doesn't want to help Gizzy and Jordan anymore, as he wants to grieve and runs off. Skylar is captured by more gold diggers, and they save him. Skylar agrees to help them again, and Gizzy finally calls a truce with him. Core and Tink take Demi to the mansion as Darko watches. Globe puts Demi into the pit as Core and Globe fight, with Tink running off. As Core leaves to find Tink, Darko corners him and wants answers. Tink runs upstairs and finds a gun, but hides as Dawn shows up. Dawn and Articus enters the room and Dawn kills him. No, my boy Articus! Betrayed by his own love! I mean, he wasn't a good guy, but I just like the name. Enzo finds Demi in the pit and reunites, and they fear if Darko sees Enzo again, he'll kill him. Tink found a device to remove the shock collar off her neck. Gizzy is so sensitive to Skylar in this episode, like it kind of rubs me the wrong way. It makes me angry. Skylar just found out his parents are dead, and Gizzy is just like, does not care. And just yelling at him. In Gizzy's defense, a little bit, slightly, I'm only going to defend Gizzy slightly, because we all hate Gizzy. Gizzy is, still doesn't trust this guy, you know, after everything that they've been through all the way back in season 1, where they attacked each other. So he's a little bit like, oh, I don't know where you align, you know? But then again, they did save Skylar twice. In this episode and during the Ghost episode. I also like the Gold Diggers episode. I think it's a fun idea of like, okay, so these girls are like killing people for their money. It just makes sense in the world of Purge. Gold diggers make sense in the world of Purge. It makes sense in the world of Purge. Kind of like killer clowns. It makes sense in the world of Purge. Episode 6. This is a big 50th episode special. So we got all the way up to episode 50 of Purge, and I wanted to do something huge. So let's get into it. Flashback to Purge 2016, a week before it begins. Way back a week before season 1, episode 1 begins. Got that? Okay. Articus and Dawn have finished making the pit and want to capture people before the Purge. Jordan thinks it's wrong. Articus and Dawn exile Jordan from the family and kick him out, leading Jordan to get a job with Sasha as a henchman. Ooh, you see? You see everything all connecting? Oh, we love that. Gizzy, Jordan, and Skylar arrive at the mansion and they sneak inside. They find Articus dead. They find the spare keys to the pits and head to save the others. Dawn tells Globe Articus is dead when Core shows up with Darko, pretending to be a captive. Core pushes Dawn into the pit as Darko and Globe fight. Darko jumps into the pit to find Demi while Core battles Globe. Globe runs off and Core chases after him. Gizzy finds Tink alive and immediately asks her to marry him, and she says yes. Tink tells Jordan Dawn killed Articus. Gizzy and Jordan jump into the pit to find the others. Tink and Skylar unlock the door and hide as the surviving Purgers escape. Darko finds Demi and Enzo and are forced into a truce until they escape. Jordan confronts Dawn in the pit and aims to shoot her, but she jumps out of the way and hits Gizzy instead, shooting his eye out. Gizzy collapses to the floor as Lois, Anna, Tink, and Skylar show up. Dawn escapes the mansion. This was so dramatic. I love rewatching this and was just, oh my gosh, this was actually kind of sick. I'm curious if like the actual shot and the moment would have been cool if it was animated, but I think it still works. We've had animated scenes in this show before. I was wondering if this was one of those moments that should have been animated. I'm also a big fan of the confrontation between Core and Globe, because if you remember, Globe killed Core's wife, Belle. I also love the confrontation between Dawn and Jordan in the pit. Gizzy and Tink also had a nice moment. It's just a good episode. You know what? 50th special. Tick that off. We'll love that. Maybe at the end of this recap, I'll do my top 10 favorite episodes, and you guys can agree to disagree. So stick around to the end to see the top 10. Episode 7! As the others try to save Gizzy, Gizzy is in his subconscious and meets his father, Ace. Oh my gosh. Jordan and Anna bury their dad and have a chance to talk about grief and that Jordan is still struggling after Nancy. Demi and Darko tell Enzo to leave, and he reveals their family home was destroyed and has nowhere to go. Lois shows up and thanks Enzo for protecting them and thinks he's changed. They decide to let Enzo stay with them during the Purge. Ace tells Gizzy he's hanging on to life and that Tink is saving him and he wished to have met her. Ace reminds Gizzy that he is his son and that he can survive the Purge and that he can purge. Gizzy admits he wanted a father, and Ace comforts him, telling him to purge. Gizzy wakes up with the heroes around him and learns he lost an eye and freaks out. Anna gives him his father's eye patch and he yells at everyone to leave. Jordan tells everyone they want to burn their home down, and Lois, the voice of reason, tells them that's super dumb and it's a safe place now. But Jordan and Anna wants to find their mom and stop her before the purge ends and think she's in the town nearby. They need to stop Globe and Dawn before they recreate the pit. Valid reason, valid reason, valid reason. Gizzy puts on Articus's jacket and has a brand new badass look. The heroes burn down the house, ready to move on. Gizzy tells Ace that he's never killed anyone, which is so lies. Lies! Why are you lying? He's killed the mad scientist in the 4th episode of this season. He's killed the pirates. Gizzy, you've killed people, okay? Stop living this fantasy of like, I've never killed anyone, I can't purge. Liar! You liar! If I wrote this better all the way back in season 1, where the plan was that Gizzy would never purge until this moment, that would have been more sick. Also, there's a quote I'm just gonna read that Ace says, and I say, oh, it is so good.
Purge is back. The world may end, and your loved ones may die. Are you ready?
I'll never be ready. Bars? Bars. I think that's bars. This is a pretty epic episode entirely in cinematic mode. We've only done 2 of these before. One with Rachel's flashback episode in season 4, and then this episode where this is all entirely filmed in cinematic. The song used at the end too. Num 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 nom. Num 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 nom. Num 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 nom. Very good. And then Tink asks Gizzy, like, when they're ready to leave, like, are you ready? And Gizzy's response saying, I'll never be ready. Ugh. Stop! Stop! The writing! I did that! That was me!
Are you ready?
I'll never be ready. I wish the final shot of the episode was on Gizzy's like eye reflecting the fire of the house back, kind of like showing the fire inside him. I was close. It would have been a masterpiece. It was close, very close. Okay, so I love this episode, and I think this is a great like conclusion of like that story arc of like the pit and the last man standing. But we have a new problem now. We still have like I think 4 episodes or 5 episodes left of this season. And now we have too many characters all kind of together. There is no plot, really, besides finding Dawn and Globe. This is giving Stranger Things, where there are too many characters now. It's giving Stranger Things. Also, can we just quickly point out, Gizzy got shot in the eye. He was in a coma briefly for like an hour or whatever. And then he wakes up and he just gets up and starts walking around purged like everything's fine. Right, okay, yeah, right, okay, sure, Jan. Episode 8. Core manages to shoot and kill Globe, getting his revenge for killing Belle. But his celebration is short-lived when he is stabbed in the back by Dawn. With Globe dead, Dawn panics, losing everything. She contacts a company called No Questions Asked, wanting Jordan to suffer, and in return, they can have her mansion. Unaware it's been burnt down. Core leaves a message on his phone for someone to find as he dies. While out in the woods, Gizzy is still mad with Jordan and considers leaving. The duo decide to talk in private while the other heroes head to Skylar's town. While talking, Ghostface calls them and attacks, but Gizzy kills Ghostface and comforts Jordan, reuniting the best friends. The heroes arrive at the town when a helicopter arrives and a masked person emerges with bodyguards. It's the person Dawn called, and she shows up and tells them to kill Jordan's friends. The Russian guy reveals his name is Death, who runs the operation No Questions Asked, and will do anything for money. Anna reveals the mansion is destroyed, so Death says the deal is off. Death and his men leave, and the other heroes capture Dawn. As they take her into the house, they find Core dead and listen to his farewell message. But we also have a school reference. Shout out to the school reference. We have Dancing Guy's grave, who Dancing Guy was a character in my school series. Also, when Ghostface shows up, he just kind of just stands there as Gizzy just attacks him. Like, what are you doing? The acting in this one is not very good. That's what I noticed in this season. The acting from the body actors it's a little frustrating. I feel like it could have been a bit more epic and dramatic if the acting was just on point. And I blame myself. I should have just refilmed it until we got it. I think I was just being a little bit lazy. I like the Russian guy, Death, but like the accent is so thick. Like sometimes it's hard to like hear it, and that kind of takes you out of the scene a little bit. But I do like having like not just all American cast kind of thing.
We just burnt down the mansion.
She's lying.
Actually, we did see a lot of smoke coming from directions of the woods. I didn't realize it was connected.
A lot of people were upset with Core, who died in this one. I feel like Core's time came at an appropriate time where like there wasn't really anything else story-wise for him to do after Belle's death. I just wish that I pushed the globe and core thing to the end of the season because I'm finishing up all of these storylines in this season when I still have like 3 episodes to go. Where's the drama? At this point, where's the drama? Dawn's been captured. Globe's dead. The pit is over. We have too many characters all just standing around now. My other tiny complaint about Skylar is that he has barely any screen time at this point, basically moving on. And he doesn't even like introduce himself to most of the cast. Like everybody kind of knows everybody except Skylar, who just follows them around now and nobody even like bats an eye about it. Like who the heck is this kid? Who's this furry following them around? Episode 9! Death is told by his boss that he needs to go back and kill Dawn for wasting their time. The heroes say goodbye to Core and Gizzy and Jordan find Demi and Skylar flirting with each other. Gizzy checks with Ting if she still wants to get married and she says yes. Gizzy and Jordan unite with Anna to talk with Dawn to find out more information from her. She reveals she hated her kids and she contacted Death to make Jordan suffer since she's lost everything else. Jordan runs off upset and Gizzy comforts him. They decide to talk to Lois and give her a hug, thanking her for being the only sane parent. After Core's death, it's triggered the Rachel conversation between Enzo and Darko, and the two begin to argue again. The heroes are divided on whether Enzo is the one responsible for Rachel's death, as Jordan is in favor with Enzo since he hated Rachel anyways. Gizzy decides to hold a court ruling about the incident, and Tink, the judge, decides Enzo isn't solely responsible, therefore he isn't guilty. But he needs to share the blame with Darko. While distracted, Dawn escapes past Anna. She chases after Dawn but is ambushed. Before getting killed, Death shows up again and is about to kill Dawn. Dawn offers to Death the land from the mansion as well as the body snatcher's company. Death calls his boss who accepts the terms and both Dawn and Anna are taken on the copter. To Russia. Death and his soldiers go and hunt the others. This is a really fun episode of just focused on the characters, just having fun and having a good time and just spending time with each other and interacting with each other. But there's like no plot really. It's kind of like a little side mission, side quest where they just do those little court thing. I do like the honor and the scenes, and also it's building up the next episode where the heroes are being hunted. That's kind of fun. I kind of like that. That's fun. Also, the Russia twist, pretty fun. I think that's fun. Wait, fun. Episode 10. Gizzy and Jordan discover Dawn has escaped and Anna is missing. Death and his soldiers use tranquilizing darts to knock the heroes unconscious, except Skylar manages to escape. Gizzy and Jordan find Dawn and Anna by the copter, and they clear out the guards. Jordan aims at Dawn, ready to shoot, but he can't do it. Anna is about to do it, but they are all darted and knocked unconscious. Gizzy and Jordan wake up in prison in Russia. They meet the leader Unknown, the leader of No Questions Asked. Unknown explains Dawn paid him to make Jordan suffer, and he also explains in Russia Purge is once a month for 24 hours. Unknown reveals there were too many heroes to put on the helicopter, so he killed some of them. They step aside to see Demi, Anna, and Lois dead. Heads on spikes. This episode is pretty dark. I even had like a disclaimer thing in the video like, hey, this is dark. 3 main characters, boom, dead. We needed a motive for both Gizzy, Jordan, and Darko have motivation to go after the Russian people. I also got the inspiration from the Walking Dead Pike scene. It fits Purge pretty well. I was very worried about this, especially since we decided to kill off an 11-year-old girl. Most of the reactions were pretty positive though. Positive as in like they were shocked and upset, but it wasn't like holding pitchforks, demanding a recount and a redo and like, oh, this is too much, Gizzy. Nothing like that. I didn't get canceled, so good. And also keep in mind at this point we were planning a season 6 as the finale season, so we already had everything written and like planned in place before Jordan told me eventually that he didn't want to do it anymore. So at this point I assumed that Jordan wanted to carry on, so keep that in mind when you look at season 6. Episode 11! Dawn, also in Russia, is furious with Unknown for killing Anna and wants the deal off and to release Jordan, but Unknown shoots and kills her instead. Dawn is finally dead. Gizzy, Jordan, Tink, Enzo, and Darko contemplate their fate trapped in prison while everyone tries to keep in high spirits. Gizzy has given up entirely. The heroes argue as Enzo blames Darko for Demi's death. Gizzy makes everyone realize it's the company's fault, not theirs. Tink leaves to try and find a way to escape. She discovers cracked walls when Unknown approaches her. Unknown wants Tink to work for him and to be his assistant. Tink refuses. But Unknown attacks her and warns her to think about it or he'll make her life unbearable, especially during the purge in 4 weeks. Tink tells everyone what happened, which makes Gizzy freak out and asks them to get fake married in the prison. They host a ceremony and promise to have a real wedding once they escape. Death shows up and tells them to stop when Darko punches him and he puts them into solitary confinement. Gizzy and Jordan go and look around and they discover different parts of the prison and read a book about the origins of the company and realize the Russians took over. Thinking Death is the main villain and Unknown may get persuaded. They agree they need to work together to escape prison. Meanwhile, Skylar finds Bailey, Roxanne, and Evan and tells them what has happened. Roxanne is aware of no questions asked and agrees for them to help, and they all head back to the White House to see if they could get help from the president. We have new voice actors for both Bailey and Evan in this as well. And that's the season. That's it. That is season 5. Overall, I don't hate it. Like, I thought I was gonna not like it when I rewatched it because it's been like 6 or 7 years since I've done it. Honestly, it kind of holds up, especially the first half. Basically, once it gets to the point where like they leave the mansion and after like the world ends and like the fires and then Gizzy's lost his eye. At that point, I feel like we had a pacing issue. We're like, okay, now we have all these characters. We don't know what to do with them. And we're still chasing Globe, which, by the way, definitely my least favorite villain I've done ever in I think all of my shows. He's just one note, like, I'm the bad guy, and that's it. We don't know anything about him. We don't know what his motivations are. He's just a lapdog for Dawn and Articus, basically, because he loves Dawn. But, like, that's it. We don't really know anything else about him, and that's kind of lazy. It just feels like we could have done a bit better with Globe. I also felt like we should have pushed Globe and Core's story a bit more towards the season finale. So while the others go to Russia in the prison, we then see Globe and Core basically killing each other where they both die at the end. The banter between Gizzy and Jordan was a lot of fun. The world building was very cool to see again and to see more purges. I enjoyed some of the new characters like Skylar and Anna. I enjoyed Dawn as a villain. I wasn't so much a fan of Globe and Articus. The story of Jordan's family and the pit was really cool. Much needed lore for Jordan's side. Gizzy's eye shot and becoming badass, I think, added to the complexity of the show, and a cameo from Ace was always appreciated. I do think it's balanced perfectly between season 1's editing style plus season 4's editing style. With that being said, let's talk about some of the jarring problems in the show. I'm reading, sorry. The acting from some of the actors weren't so great. The microphone from Dawn's actor is not so good either. The furry episode, less we talk about it, the better. The less we also talk about like the president and Dump and like, let's move on from that. It also broke a lot of the realism with the werewolves. There was also way too many character deaths. We got Belle, Core, Anna, Demi, Lois, Dawn, Articus, Globe, just to name on the top of my head. While I won't rate this season as high as season 1, 2, and 4, it didn't frustrate me as much as season 3 with the terrible Herobrine storyline. I think it's about the same as season 3. I love the cannibal storyline, but the Herobrine side of it really hurt it. Whereas on this flip side, I really love like the editing and the banter and the world building with Jordan's family. I like the pit, Last Man Standing. But then the pacing after that kind of slowed way down. I didn't really know what to do next. I'm going to give this season a 5 out of 10. It's slightly under season 3, but season 3 is also a 5 out of 10. But I would say season 3 is just slightly better just because the cannibal storyline is very cool.
We are the heroes of our time. Heroes.
Season 6! We made it to season 6. Wow. This has been a long video. If you're still watching, thank you so much. We're at the tail end of it now. Let's do this. The heroes break out of prison and go on the run from no questions asked. Can the others find and save them in time? I have issues with this season. I rushed this season because I wanted to be done with Purge. I didn't want to bring Purge back in season 5 without Jordan. I bring it back with Jordan, and then Jordan didn't want to be part of it, so then I was kind of stuck with season 6, like, well, what am I supposed to do with this now? Which is why this season only has 7 episodes instead of the usual 11. Most of my shows that I do usually have this 11-episode format, like School, Yandere, Purge. The only exceptions are the movie-style videos such as Clue and Friday the 13th. Altered Adventure falls into a different category as well because it was treated as volumes. Volumes was 12 episodes instead of 11. So Jordan is not in this season, but he did come back for the season finale. And also, he voice acted in the episode where he left the season again. Episode 1! Death overhears Jordan while praying, saying he misses being in Canada and going to a camp he visited with Anna called Camp Candelore. Death recognizes the name of it. Jordan meets with Gizzy in the library and the two argue with each other. Death interrupts them and says he wanted to talk to Jordan privately. In his office, Death explains no questions asked was his. An unknown stepped in and turned it chaotic. Death admits he didn't want Anna to die since it was Dawn's deal and said not to harm her. Unknown killed her anyway. Death feels bad about breaking the deal and offers to make it up to Jordan and then hits him over the head. Purge begins! Gizzy, Tink, and Enzo flee into the library and they hide inside a secret room. Tink tells the other two she's going to work with Unknown to get information from him and Gizzy trusts her. They don't know what happened to Jordan. At a camp, Jordan wakes up and realizes he's at Camp Candelore. Def took him there and reminded Jordan Canada doesn't have purge. The big twist is that they are not in fact in Russia, but they're in Canada. They just tell the prisoners to scare them to make them feel hopeless. The prison is actually in Canada, and it's close by to Camp Candelore. Def reveals he never wanted the purge inside the prison, and they're breaking the law. Unknown is the mastermind. Jordan wants to go back and save his friends, but Def explains that wasn't part of the deal. With Jordan having no one else, he realizes a fresh start at this camp may be what he needs. He wanted to say goodbye to Gizzy, and so Def lets him record an audio message. Back at prison, Def returns and discovers the heroes found a hiding spot. Before killing them, the sirens begin, ending the purge. Def shows the audio tape to Gizzy from Jordan. They have a heartfelt goodbye as he explains he escaped prison. Tink takes the job from Unknown and sneaks into Solitary to tell Darko she's planning on their escape. Okay, so there are some setups. This was also another Christmas special, by the way. This was Christmas 2019, I think. Jordan wanted out, so we needed to write Jordan out. Camp Candelore, fun fact, is actually based on an actual camp in Canada. I did my research. That's right. Your boy does some research. I did a little Googling. Is it too coincidental that the camp that Jordan grew up in happens to be right next to the prison that he was taken to? Yes. There's been too many coincidences, but whatever. Also, just a reminder that in Russia, purge is once every month for 24 hours. However, they're actually in Canada, but the prisoners don't know that. I kind of like the setback, the retcon of Russia to Canada, just because geography-wise, from America to Canada, it makes sense for it to be Canada. How these people got over the border from America to Canada, it's purge. You can do whatever you want, I guess. You can border hop, whatever. Did they not think that through? The rules of purge, like, oh, technically it's not illegal to jump into a different country, but isn't it illegal to jump into a country that doesn't have purge? If an American goes to Canada, that's breaking something, right? But if a Canadian goes into America during purge, they're not breaking the law, but they are if they're... It's too... We're gonna move on. There was also in the season finale, the book revealed that it was the Russians that took over, but actually it was a twist, and that Unknown took over, and it was the Russians company. I do explain that later in a future episode. I just want to quickly point that out, that I'm very aware of the loophole and the plot hole, but I explain it later in the show. I also use season 5 intro instead of season 6 intro. I think I was just in between intros at the time, but I should have used season 6's intro, not season 5's intro. There's gonna be a lot of flaws in this season, unfortunately. That is another minor setback for me. The font is also different. It's just the little things. I'm also not using the resource pack, and the font's different. It feels off, and why did I do that? I think it was just because I was rushing. I don't know. It just breaks the continuity when, like, the intro is not the same, the resource pack isn't the same, the font isn't the same, where it's been consistent throughout most, if not all, of the whole show. Hi, editing note here. There's something I totally forgot to mention, which I was going to I plan on mentioning, but I'd forgotten until now. I mentioned Stranger Things in season 5 where there was too many characters. There's too many parallels with Stranger Things. In season 6 of Purge, Gizzy and the heroes are taken to a Russian prison. That's like a main plot of the season where they're trying to escape. That happens in Stranger Things season 4, I think, or whichever season, but it happens in Stranger Things. Also, Purge was first, so Stranger Things, it's copying me? I thought so. I see you, Stranger Things. Maybe next time, just call me if you want a writer, okay, instead of relying on AI. All right, back to the video. Episode 2! Phoenix, a prisoner, is getting messages from a pen pal called Riker and learns about a wedding. There is a montage of Tink doing chores and Unknown admits he wants her and then kisses her. Tink lies to him and says she'll break up with Gizzy, but Phoenix overheard her. Roxanne, Bailey, Evan, and Skylar enter to visit Dump, and he says he'll only help if Roxanne admits she lost. Roxanne admits this, so Dump offers her a helicopter and also tells them the no question asked company is actually in Canada. Roxanne reveals she won't be joining just as Tonk shows up and explains who she is. She is Tink's twin sister. She joins Evan, Bailey, and Skylar. Gizzy is working on the guard tower and finally gets it done after spending a month working on it. Gizzy and Tink's relationship has been struggling the past month. Death takes Gizzy to his cell, but he goes to the chapel instead and reveals he wanted to be the one to kill him and traps him. Purge begins, but Death's gun has no ammo. Gizzy reveals Tink has been collecting the ammo and no one has ammo. Gizzy attacks Death and he tells him where Jordan is, Camp Candelore. Death is left stuck in the chapel. While the guards panic without ammo, the prisoners turn against them all. Tink tells Unknown she double-crossed him and hits him unconscious. Phoenix teams up with Tink to get Darko from Solitary, who is struggling to leave Solitary after being there for 2 months. Gizzy, Tink, Enzo, Darko, and Phoenix try to escape. Defra breaks out of the chapel. He He checks on Unknown and he still has a gun. While Death and Unknown chases after them, Enzo decides to stay behind to slow them down, helping the others escape. Death, however, knows where they are going. Camp Candelore. All right, I've got some problems. Real quick, also, just to clarify, this was the first and only season they uploaded to the Minecraft channel instead of the main channel. So I had the main channel, the Gizzy Gazza channel. That was where most of the show went, even season 5. I started doing cartoons. Cartoons did really well. I was still uploading season 5 with the cartoons. I decided in 2019 to finally do a Minecraft channel, splitting the cartoons and Minecraft, which is now why I have 2 channels. Ta-da. The Minecraft content went on the Minecraft channel. Finally, this is where season 6 went on, when the rest of the show is on this channel. So you can see why the views dropped significantly, because a lot of people didn't see that it was on a different channel. Personally, what I should have done is that if it's a new channel, fresh start. If I start rebooting stuff from old shows and old channels, the views are not gonna reconnect. On top of that, I tried to follow the algorithm, which was popular at the time, which is very like Preston Plays, Jelly, Beck Bro Jack kind of style, which wasn't my style. You know, it's been 7 to 8 years and I've learned that was dumb. So these thumbnails are atrocious and awful, which I also think helped why we didn't get that many views. But I did just recently, as of while I'm filming this video, change the thumbnails. So they don't look like this anymore. They look like this. Looks way better. Looks way more Gizzy branded, the 3D style thumbnails, and a bit more cinematic. Will it help? Doesn't matter. Did I spend money on a thing that ended 6 years ago? Yes, I did. It's also been 2 months since Skylar. 2 months since the heroes have been stuck in Russia, in the prison in Canada. It's been 2 months since Skylar approached Roxanne and Evan and Bailey. Okay, keep that in mind. It was 2 months ago when season 5 ended. At this point, when they break out, it's been 2 months. What have they been doing in those 2 months? What happened in between those 2 months? They could have saw President Dump off screen 2 months ago, and they spent those 2 months preparing and planning an attack where they fly over to the actual location of the prison. Instead, we get this awkward scene with Dump, and it's just, I'm not gonna say anything. We are thinking the same thing. They also missed a purge last month during the Christmas special. Like, what were they doing? All of their friends could have been dead. Also, how did Tong get to them by the helicopter? Also, this episode was called Prison Break originally. I had to rename it to Another Prison Break because there was an episode in season 2 called Prison Break. And it took me 6 years to figure that out. While filming this video, I realized we have 2 episodes titled the same episode. Season 6, bro, what are you doing to me? Okay, we have new characters, Phoenix, Tonk, whatever. How is Phoenix writing to a pen pal in this Russian-Canadian prison? Who is this pet? Why? Oh, that makes no sense. You're telling me that Unknown and No Questions Asked will let him write to a stranger outside of the prison? No, they wouldn't! The prison escape was pretty dramatic, though, and Enzo staying behind to save the others. I mean, that's some character development. You all hated him in season 4, but look at him now in season 6. Yeah, bet you're starting to feel bad for him, aren't you? Episode 3! Gizzy and Tink argue and break up after Gizzy hears from Phoenix she planned to be with Unknown. Tink explains it was to try to get close to him to help them escape. They arrive at the camp and learn Jordan is nearby and that he has a wife named Sophie. Darko gets upset and runs off and meets a doctor named Riker and tells her his name is Billy. Gizzy talks with Sophie to learn Jordan never mentioned him, and he runs off upset, thinking Jordan doesn't want him in his life. The helicopter lands and the heroes all reunite, but they all learn Anna, Lois, and Demi are dead. Riker and Phoenix finally meet after being pen pals for so long, and they agree they want to stop Death and Unknown. I like Jordan meeting someone, but we have like no relationship with this new person. And there were so many new characters in this season when it's the final season. Phoenix, Riker, Death and Unknown. We got Tonk, we got Sophie. And this is the last season? Why am I writing so many characters? It should be focused on like the main guys. Skylar's voice also is no longer whiny. I don't know why. It's been 2 months. Did he hit puberty within those 2 months? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Season 6, guys. Season 6 is... The problem is that it's just rushed. Like, I didn't sit it down and think about it. I was like, you know, I just want to get this done. I want to be done with this. Also, episodes like 3, 4, and 5 are all so short and all just basically in the camp. Why were they just not 1 episode? We could just have 1 big episode of just the focus on the camp. Not to mention the whole synopsis is supposed to be on the run from No Questions Asked. We barely see Unknown this season. Like, Unknown is just in the prison doing whatever. Yeah, they have Enzo, so they know they'll be back. You know where they are. Like, we barely see the villain in season 6. We have the big season 6 villain who's killed 3 people plus Dawn. And he's like terrorized Tink for like months. And he's just sitting in prison off screen for 4 of the 6 episodes. I do like it more than Globe though. At least Unknown is interesting. Globe is just, oof. We're also super deep into Gizzy's edgy era, which isn't too surprising considering what he's been through. It's just not very fun to watch. Phoenix mentions he's been bulking since the last picture he sent, which is what he says to his pen pal Riker. What do you mean? The last picture you sent? The last picture? How did you take that picture? In prison? They're gonna let you do that? What do you mean? What do you mean?
You look a lot prettier in person than your photos.
And you put on some weight from your last photo.
It's not weight, it's bulk. I work out in the gym.
Writing Phoenix and Riker. I don't understand why Phoenix and Riker are in this season. They serve nothing except plot holes. Okay. All right, let's carry on. I'm getting overwhelmed. Episode 4. The heroes talk about the next plan, and Sophie explains that she and Death have a deal where they leave each other alone. Sophie refuses for the camp to get involved, but the others want to save Enzo and stop the villains. Bailey, Tink, Tonk, and Phoenix go and find food, while Gizzy has a therapy session with Riker. During therapy, Gizzy opens up that losing his loved ones has changed him and he might be depressed. Skylar finds Darko, who is struggling after being in isolation for 2 months and is convinced his name is Billy. Tink, Tonk, Bailey, and Phoenix find an abandoned shack in the woods and realize someone was given pardon to live in Canada, and think maybe they could get one from the president. Jordan shows up and sees they have escaped prison and runs off. Death shows up to the camp wanting his inmates back, and Sophie stands up for them. Sophie also reveals Jordan went for firewood for a few days ago. How does she not care? What the heck? Evan takes out the soldiers and captures Death. He's about to kill him, but with Enzo still alive in prison, they decide not to kill him. Another thing that just occurred to me was that in the season 5 finale cliffhanger was that everybody's trapped in prison while the other heroes, Skylar, Roxanne, Evan, and Bailey, are all meeting up to go and save them. Those heroes, Roxanne and Bailey in the helicopter and all that, did nothing to save them. What was the point of the cliffhanger in season 5 where they all like got this plan of like, okay, we're gonna go save the heroes, and then they don't do anything? The people in prison, the heroes in prison in Canada, saved themselves and escaped, and then the others just showed up. They did nothing. Why are they here? Oh my gosh. I wish I wrote it where like the heroes in prison are about to escape, they get caught, and then the helicopter flies in, starts shooting at them, helps them escape, and then Enzo gets left behind. Maybe some purpose. We need purpose. Whatever. I guess it's fun that they're all back together. Whatever. Riker and Phoenix also have way too much screen time for these 2 new filler characters that nobody cares about. I don't care about these people. You don't care about these people. Why are they taking up so much screen time? Riker's audio is so quiet. I can't hear you. Speak up. I also wrote here, Darko has been hunted, brainwashed, tortured, became a cult follower, a crazy, and now in prison and going through trauma about being in solitary. He's been through it. I'm so sorry. Sophie tells the heroes to go and find food. Isn't this a campground? Don't they like have food? Isn't there like a grocery store that they drive to? This is 2019. This isn't the wilderness and they're choosing to live through the wilderness. Are they hunting their own food? Are they hunting like wild animals to eat? What do you mean? What do you mean hunt your food? What do you mean? I wish that was specifically explained. Like, oh, in this campground, we hunt our own food. One line would have fixed all of that. The episodes are also way too short. Oh my gosh, this is... Boy. Episode 5. Gizzy agrees to talk to Death, but Skylar tells Sophie they could do a swap. Death for Enzo. But Darko overhears this. While talking, Death explains more about his company and that Unknown came in and helped out with the business. Gizzy says he found a book that said the Russians took over the company and Unknown was the founder. Death reveals the book was written by Unknown and it was a fake, that he had never actually killed anyone. Unknown is the killer. Gizzy isn't sure if he could believe him. Gizzy makes Death realize he's being manipulated by Unknown and that it is no longer his company and Unknown took over. The campers feel scared and they leave, upsetting Sophie. Skylar asks her about Toronto and he always wanted to see it. The others tell Sophie and Gizzy that Jordan ran off and Gizzy is done with him. Tink and Tonk argue. Darko is missing and he's taken Death into the woods to kill him. The 2 argue and Darko realizes Death wants to help them since he realizes his company is no longer his and wants Unknown out. And there's video proof that Unknown killed Demi. Death teams up with the heroes. I like Death as a character, but I just feel like we just shoehorned too many new characters. Like we shouldn't have added Tonk. Why did we add Tonk? Why did we have like Tink and Tonk? I hate that. Why do we have Riker and Phoenix? Hate that. Why does Jordan run off when he sees his friends? Hate that. I understand that Jordan couldn't be in the show, but like, I hate it. I just hate it. Why are we at this campground and we're acting like it's in the middle of the wilderness? I hate that. Why are we retconning so much and we're saying that Def has never actually killed anyone when he worked and also owned a company called No Question Asked, and in season 5, he specifically said that he'll do anything for money. So he must have killed people. Oh my god. Oh, what is this? Season 6, man. Also, originally, Unknown explains 3 people were killed because they couldn't fit on the helicopter. But now Def is saying Unknown killed them, which means they did take them to the prison. So there was space on the helicopter for all of these characters. Okay, sure, Jan. I'm reading this bit and it says, I assume Unknown was the one who came up with the prison and created their own purge inside prison. I accept that. I don't believe that Def has never killed anyone for a client, considering that's literally his company. Literally his company is No Questions Asked, where he'll do anything for money during Purge. He's gonna kill people. I accept that Unknown probably came up with the whole prison, Canada to Russia, trapping people. I believe that. But Death, not killing anyone? I don't believe that. There's also literally no Purge. Like, there's no Purge this entire season. They're in Canada, which has no Purge. The prison thing was like episode 1 and 2 of the Christmas special and the breakout. That's done. Now everyone is just sitting around camp trying to figure out like, ooh, a friend is still in prison. Ooh. Like, call the police. You could call the police. You literally could call the Canadian police. The campers are already left. Are you telling me the Canadian police do not know about the single prison that's happening? Are you telling me nobody whistle blew? None of the campers? Did the campers not know about it and Sophie kept it quiet? All of these need to be explained a bit better. I am liking Death though. This episode made me warm up to Death. He's an interesting character and I like interesting characters. The Tink and Tonk stuff is very random and forced. I don't like it. I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Should be more focused on Tink and Gizzy. Why are we adding this extra character? I don't like it. Episode 6. Tink and Tonk go to therapy and agree to find a common hobby together. Tink talks with Gizzy and calls off the break and they get back together. Darko and Def return and agree to the plan to swap Death for Enzo. Bailey and Evan tag along to take the helicopter. Sophie suggests Gizzy talks to Roxanne through a phone box to see if she can convince the president to give them pardon to live in Canada. Darko and Evan have a chance to talk and they agree to save Enzo and to forgive him and be a family again. Gizzy finds the phone box and calls Roxanne and asks for the pardons, and she says she'll ask him. Gizzy turns around and sees Jordan and he runs after him but falls into an ice cave. Jordan leaves him to die. Ooh, okay. Well, this is the penultimate episode ever. And we got Gizzy trapped in some ice. And we also have like a solution as to like how Purge ends where they're all going to move to Canada, which I don't entirely hate. I kind of knew that I was kind of shoebox myself with Purge coming back. I couldn't just Purge end again, you know? So I needed some kind of way to have this a somewhat satisfying conclusion with Purge where maybe they just leave America. They don't need to be in America. Darko makes some graves for everybody, which... this is not your property. You can't just do that. Why is Darko and Jordan making graves on this campground? It makes no sense. They already have graves for them back in America. Ah! I've never been this chaotic. This entire season's broken me. Also, how did Gizzy just guessed Roxanne's numbers and just went, boop, 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 boop. Oh, Roxanne, hey, what's it going? You know, like that was, what do you mean? You had no number. Ah, you literally could have got the number from like Evan or Bailey, who's literally worked for Roxanne before going to the phone box. You could have done that. Easy, poor writing. It's just such a shame to see the final season come to this, considering how goated the rest of the show was. I'm very disappointed and very upset with season 6, just because of how many flaws and plot holes there are. I could have made it better. And it's because I rushed it. And I didn't want to do season 5 and season 6. And I felt like I was kind of like shoeboxed into doing season 6 because Jordan left again. And I'm like, I now have to deal with this? Great, cool, thanks. Not blaming Jordan, it is just life. I just shouldn't have agreed to do seasons 5 and season 6. I did like season 5 though. So if anything, I'm glad that we brought that back. What I probably should have done is just made season 5 like the final season. And then not introduce Death and Unknown and No Questions Asked. The last 3 to 4 episodes of season 5 should have been focused on wrapping things up and having a satisfying conclusion. Guess what world we live in? We live in this one. All right, it's time for the Purge finale. Do we land it? Let's find out. Gizzy finds the dead body of the American in the cave as he passes out and returns to his subconscious. Only this time he finds Lois, not Ace. Darko, Death, Evan, and Bailey arrive at the prison and Unknown agrees to the swap. Gizzy is trapped in the ice and he sees his loved ones and fallen heroes who comfort him as he is about to die. Lois tells him he's still going to die tonight even if it's not right now, helping Gizzy get ready for it. Jordan comes back and saves Gizzy, and Gizzy wakes up and tells him they'll leave Camp Kandalore so Jordan can be with his wife and start again. The deal doesn't go to the plan as the guards shoot the copter and Bailey dies inside. Death double-crossed them and reunited with Unknown. We needed more justice for Bailey. Bailey was so sidelined this season just to die off and then nobody cares. Like Cora and Belle, Demi, Anna, Lois, Core, Belle, Bailey, like all these main characters die within like a couple of months of each other, and everyone just kind of like brushes it off. Where's the urgency? Where's the grief? Where's the drama? Bailey's been a main character since season 3. We get no acknowledgement or like anyone cares that Bailey dies, which is such a shame. Gizzy, Tink, and Tonk head back to the camp when Gizzy tells Tink about the subconscious and that he's going to die. Gizzy says he doesn't want to die though, but he isn't afraid and thinks it's the subconscious way to get him ready for it. Soldiers arrive at the camp and the trio watch in hiding. Riker and Phoenix are darted as Sophie and Skylar get weapons. The soldiers begin to destroy the camp with fire just as Gizzy, Tink, and Tonk show up. See, even Riker and Phoenix are just darted unconscious, similar to season 5, just because of how useless they are. Unknown makes Def get back to work and he watches the tape of the girls getting killed and realizes he's wrong and is tired of Unknown being in charge. Unknown discovers Evan is Enzo's son and he's about to get his head cut off. Evan yells saying he forgives Enzo just as Def shows up and he holds a gun at Unknown. At the camp, Gizzy knocks the soldiers out and he leaves to the prison with Tink and Skylar, with Sophie and Tonk to try to put the fires out and protect Phoenix and Riker. The phone booth begins to ring. Dun, 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 dun. Def tries to convince the soldiers to turn against Unknown, but they refuse. A sniper shoots the soldiers, however, and it's Jordan! Jordan reminds them a sniper protected him, and now he's protecting the sniper, which was Darko in season 1. Unknown escapes, and Def chases after him. Evan and Enzo have a moment together, they reunite and hug. Darko tells the other inmates they are free. Jordan tells Darko he was always planning to come back to save his friends, but got distracted with his wedding. Oh, I know all my friends are dying inside this prison and they're being tortured, but I'm getting married to this woman I just met. I mean... priorities! Def returns and reveals Unknown broke out of the prison. Unknown bumps into Gizzy, Tink, and Skylar. Unknown tries to shoot Tink, but he hits Gizzy instead. Skylar uses a tranquilizer to knock Unknown out that he got from a soldier. Jordan and Darko show up, and they all have a moment together before Gizzy dies. Sometime later, at the prison, Def reveals he plans to return to Russia to be with his family, and Unknown's head is on a spike. Evan, Enzo, and Darko agree to stay behind at the camp to help repair it and be together. Sophie and Jordan reunite. Sophie also reveals they got the call from Roxanne that they can move to Canada since they helped save the world. Tink and Tonk decide they will travel while Jordan and Sophie reveal they are parting ways from the camp. Riker and Phoenix are going to get married and Skylar's going to Toronto. They all do a big group hug and split ways. Little montage part where it reveals Darko destroyed his mask and reopened the camp with Evan and Enzo and allowed campers to come and go. A family business. Riker and Phoenix eventually married, but after their second kid, they divorced. Nobody cares. I don't care about these two. Roxanne ran for mayor and won and works closely with the president. Skylar became a resident in Toronto and was accepted in the furry community. Of course, of course. And then it ends on some graves, and then that's it, cuts to black, and it's over. Controversial opinion. I liked this episode, and I don't hate the ending. I know it was very controversial that people didn't want me to die, but I felt like it was a fitting way to go. You know, we had the subconscious moment where I saw my friends. I was kind of ready for it. I sacrificed myself to save my love, Tink. The way, I wish it was an Unknown that did it. Like Unknown we barely saw and he gets the one to kill me. The shame of it. Everybody seems to get the happy ever after as well. So it's fine. The whole Skylar thing feels very forced, like Toronto, sure, okay. I've always wanted to go to Toronto. You never mentioned it once. Go back to your cave. Go back to your cave, Skylar. Tink and Tonk, sure, whatever. I guess Tonk was introduced so I could give Tink a happy ending in some way. Fine. Jordan and Sophie, I don't hate it. That's fine. I love Darko, Enzo, and Evan all coming together as one big family, considering the history that they've been through, specifically Darko and Enzo. The show works best when the heroes are divided, working on separate plans, similar to season 1 all the way to season 4. When they're split up, it works better. Half of the heroes being at the prison while the others are surviving the burning camp works so much better. I definitely like that too. This episode felt very back to its form. Half the heroes are at the camp trying to protect the camp, while the other half of the heroes are at the prison. This felt very Purge, at least within this writing style. We always need an A plot and a B plot, and when one storyline ends and we just focus on one plot, it struggles. I don't entirely hate the idea of Gizzy getting killed in the end. His death was kind of mid. Unknown and Gizzy barely had any screen time for them, so for him to be the one to kill him doesn't feel right. Overall, this is definitely my least favorite season. But I'll start with the positives. Sure, let's talk about the positives. I like the theming, the atmosphere. The camp was very cool. The prison's very cool. The prison break was kind of cool. The snowy atmosphere was kind of cool. I think there was some boxes that I ticked, which I was happy with. Def is a very fun character. Sure, out of all the new characters we introduced, Def is very cool. I like Def. That's it. I don't really have any other positives. I like the finale. The finale, I think, landed it mostly. I don't like the main villain, Unknown. I don't like how many new characters were introduced in the final season. Sophie and Jordan just doesn't feel as special compared to Jordan and Nancy, which is such a huge hill to climb anyways. Gizzy was actually a struggle to watch this season, considering it was going through its edgy phase. And I was the main character, and I wasn't likable? Come on, guys. Tonk was annoying. Phoenix and Riker was annoying. Skylar had no purpose again. What was the point of introducing him in season 5? Bailey's death was just completely forgotten about and brushed off. I could go on and on and on and on, but you guys get my point. There's a lot of plot holes, writing issues. We rushed it. Jordan left again. This is the third episode, but it was all filmed cinematic as well, like the other two. Rachel's special episode, Gizzy's subconscious losing the eye episode, and then this episode. That's it. I think I am all done, and I'm going to give this season a 3 out of 10. I genuinely cannot see myself giving it higher than a 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 makes sense. So we have season 1, 2, and 4, which are 8 out of 10. Season 3 and season 5 are 5 out of 10. Season 6 at a 3 out of 10. Here is the overall score of the show. The average. I think it's like a 7 out of 10, I think, if my math is correct. Maybe we'll do more recaps in the future where we can rank all the other seasons and of the shows, and then we can come together to figure out which is the best show of all time. You guys can help me what I should review and rewatch next. Will it be Clue, Altered Adventure, School, Friday the 13th? Ooh, there are so many shows. Oh my gosh, let me know in the comments below. Me again, editing. How's it going? I totally forgot to mention that we did a separate Purge movie. We also did a Purge public server, which only lasted for a couple of months, and then we closed it. But the Purge movie we did a couple of years ago or a year or two ago was a standalone kind of reference or a nod to the show. It was not supposed to be a reboot. It was just like a fun little thing that we just wanted to do just because we missed the word of Purge. You guys clearly missed the word of Purge, and it was just a fun thing to work on. I'm not going to talk much about it in this video. But I just want to address that, like, hey, we did do another Purge video, like a big movie thing, but it was just a one and done separate side project, not related to this show. Season 6 has 7 episodes, so there are still, like, within the format of, like, 11 episodes per season, I could do 4 more episodes. And I've actually messaged like some of the voice actors like who played Darko and Jordan and Tink. And a lot of these people do want to come back to finish up the show. The problem is that it's been 6 years. I'm satisfied enough with the ending. Do I want to do like another fake out death and another ending? Like we already ended at season 4, then we ended it again like here. Do I want to do another ending, like a third ending? Like there's too many cons for me to not want to work on it. So what I'm going to do is like I'm going to sit on it. I'm going to sit on it, see how this video performs, and then decide if I want to do the final 4 episodes of season 6 to really wrap up Purge in a more satisfying way. Because I feel like people are going to watch the whole show and then get disappointed with season 6. I don't want that. I don't want that. So I'm going to sit on it. If I do decide I want to bring Purge back and finish those 4 episodes, I'll think about it and see if people want it or not. That's it. We're done. Oh my gosh. This entire video is over. Wow. Oh my gosh. We're like 2.5 hours in. Thank you so much for watching. This was a blast. This took me all summer. I started this back in June. So please leave a like if you haven't already. Much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to go lie down. I'm gonna go purge someone. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.